President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time. I'm a person who will spike the conversation, who will get politics rolling and stimulate new questions and new answers to our current political dilemma facing our nation. I believe I have a keen understanding of the economy and how to improve where we're at relative to other nations around the world. I believe that our goal at America's Third Party was to create a very strong platform in which would propel the American people forward with new opportunities and a new possibility of creating a better nation, a cleaner environment, and less war. I believe that I am the best person for the job of President of the United States. My unique talents give me the ability to be assertive and diplomatic at the same time.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I'm David Sponheim. Today is Wasteful Wednesday, a day dedicated to dealing with waste reduction and ultimately trying to get our budget under control, because many of you people are so happy that Donald Trump was acquitted on impeachment charges, claiming that this is a big win, when in fact Donald Trump has virtually been borrowing money at a much more rapid pace than even Obama. And Obama borrowed at double the rate George W. Bush did. So Trump is essentially funding the stock market, building it up to make himself look good. He's done a lot of other things too. And all these things will come back to haunt us. What I believe has happened is the stock market is booming because they believe that this is a big sign that the Trump branding is back in play. Stock market rose by 483 points today to 29,290, making a complete comeback from last week. Yet fears of the coronavirus, which many people believed triggered the downturn last week, are very much real and very much alive. We have people who claim that 31,000 people have died of the coronavirus. I cannot corroborate that. All we have is the facts. Just the facts, ma'am. These facts are right here on this chart showing 563 people died. Now, if you believe 31,000 people have died so far, then that's your problem. If your numbers are coming up in your mind, wherever you're reading your numbers, I don't know. But the numbers I'm seeing show a kind of an arithmetic rise in the number of people infected. Not an exponential curve like some people claim, but well, you can claim it as slightly exponential. It's more like a straight line. 27,797 total confirmed have the disease, but only a small fraction of them are dying from it. Not the 15% purported. But that doesn't mean that Trump hasn't opened the gate on people coming into the country. Marine Corps Air in San Diego has U.S. citizens in quarantine coming today. March Air Force Base is now taking on another 350 people, showing the number to be close to 550 people at March Air Force Base will be put in quarantine for 14 days. All right, so we're having problems with video. I don't know why. We should be up and running. We're being transmitted over there. Yeah, we're doing pretty well. We are being attacked, by the way. Now, in lieu of that, let's talk about what's really happened, since I may have very little time here to talk to you, considering that there's so many people trying to stop this message. The impeachment has essentially been stopped by the Senate as they committed obstruction by not even taking on witnesses. And in this time period of the past 2.5 years, we've seen 36 felonies committed by Trump people. That's not some magical number. That's just a huge mark on the presidency. The fact that they proved obstruction of Congress and abuse of power in the House didn't even faze the Republicans, who are pretty much crooked to the core. That's the problem. We've got corruption at the highest level of our government. Now, we've got a couple things we're going to talk about aside from this, which is kind of a nightmare. We'll get to that later. Obviously, this is what we're going to be living with for the next few years as we deal with the reality that he got away with it. Yeah. And now we're looking at more and more people beginning to realize, wow, our country really has been taken over by Russia. And you Republicans continue to ignore all the warning signs that our country has virtually been controlled from within. Robert Mueller said emphatically that Donald Trump has a sex tape out there and it was used against him for blackmail in the past election. That just flew by in the testimony, and nobody seemed to care about that. Flew by. A sex tape is in play, and it was used to blackmail the president. What are you going to do with that? That testimony is there. Robert Mueller made it. Many of you people want to ignore the 448-page report which showed Russian interference in the election. Hi, Ron. Thanks for coming in. You're our YouTube viewer. Ace fan, everybody. One of the longest supporters we've had. Thank you. So we're seeing a systematic covering up of everything. None of the investigations were done properly. Robert Mueller's investigation was incomplete. When asked about Kushner reaching out to the Kremlin for a private line of communication, Robert Mueller didn't even know what that was. Investigation. But what we do know is that out of the 448 pages, 7% was redacted and now unredacted, yet we haven't heard about it. Meaning the Russians really did rig the election. Why weren't the articles of impeachment dealing with cheating in the election or bribery, like that which Betsy DeVos did when she gave Donald Trump $9.5 million in order to become Secretary of Education? That's pure bribery. So there's other articles of impeachment that could be built upon, and the Democrats are not preventing anyone from bringing in evidence forward. So as evidence does accrue, and we will get to the bottom of the tax returns eventually, we'll see those tax returns because one of those cases is going to crack, will be put aha moment for a lot of Republicans, and many of you will feel really, really bad for what you've been doing to our nation by insisting on believing in Donald Trump simply on his word, when we've seen him lie countless times. And people in the Democratic Party have been completely somebody who can hone in on an answer. It looks to me like he worked for the CIA for 3 years and he can't talk about it. Now, apparently they gave that win in Iowa to him, but we still don't know. All the votes haven't even come in from New Hampshire. So here we have complete incompetence in the Democratic Party, unable to even come up with a caucus solution, and seemingly unable to articulate solutions for the country that really are pending. Now, this climate change that we're experiencing or not experiencing, depending on how many people are here denying it, I'm getting hit with more water than I have ever seen in my entire life here in Washington. I've got pumps going on, pushing water away from my home, because we've got a deluge going on up here, which is extremely unusual. I've had to take 3 trees out of my house because water has settled where it never did for 20 years. For 20 years, the trees grew up fine, but now it's just water everywhere. What we're experiencing, folks, is called weather modification, not climate change. You can call it climate change if you want, but what it's called is weather modification, and it's purposeful. They're not pretending this is really happening. Our country is being hit with chemicals on a daily basis which force us to have weird weather patterns. These chemicals have been documented. Geoengineeringwatch.org has lots of these spurts statically polluting our skies. The Democrats won't mention anything about this other than to say, maybe we should somehow spray stratospheric aerosol injection in the sky to cool the planet down. Well, the planet doesn't need to cool down. Republicans are right about that. We're heading toward an ice age. What we need to do is stop the massive amount of heavy metals that are being dumped on our heads. That's the fact. And nothing the Democrats are talking about is getting to that. Nothing the Republicans are talking about is getting to that. They won't talk about the dangers of forced vaccinations on children their parents had to give them. Looks like a CIA plant. It is lawful to see the tax returns of any citizen. The House Ways and Means Committee is allowed to look at any citizen's tax returns by law. If they see a red flag, they can certainly pass it on to the Justice Department for a grand jury investigation. Oh, it's not over yet. You Republicans can count this as a mini win in a small battle. The war is still on. Believe me, we aren't going to sit back and watch our country getting taken over by Russian oligarchs. You got the wrong America here. You people who are camped out here thinking you own us, you don't even get close to what we really are, down deep. Now, because I've been censored for the past 11 years, it's been difficult to get the word out in America, but my message has gone globally to the farthest reaches of the world. And people are aware of what's going on. They're aware that I'm being censored in a country that claims to be free and democratic. This president sold out cheap to the Russians. The Russians handpicked our president and other people in the Republican Party to bribe them. And those are the people that make us most vulnerable, the ones that are greedy. Now, Donald Trump is surrounded by billionaires. You can't tell me he drained the swamp. He's got 6 billionaires working in his administration. How many of you would work if you had over $1,000 million? Come on. They're obviously padding other people's pockets in the process, and it's a big swamp. It's a snake pit. The Trump administration is withholding $1 billion in renewable energy funding. Interesting. It's not over. No. The Democrats can come up with new articles of impeachment. There's no limit to how many articles of impeachment the Democrats can come up with. I'm urging them to do cheating in the election and bribery. The next round will be cheating in election and bribery, and then the Senate will have to show their ugly, traitorous face again that they don't want to look at all the facts. They don't want to take witnesses. You know that what really shows the guilt of the Republicans in this matter is how all they talked about was wanting to have witnesses like the whistleblower, getting Adam Schiff on the stand. That's all they talked about. But when it came to the Senate, we don't want any witnesses. No witnesses. Let's vote right away. They had to be talked into talking about both sides and giving the Democrats a chance to build their case. They had to be talked into that. They were just going to shut the thing down right away. So you're talking about total obstruction of justice by the Republican Senate at every level. And our country's now in the grip of Russian oligarchs who simply make phone calls, private ones at that, to Donald Trump's cell phone. And our NSA can't even listen in. Now, we've got a terrible remembrance here to bring up. A wonderful man has died, but it was a good, long life. And everyone knows Kirk Douglas, the legend, the star. He's passed away at the age of 103. Fantastic, wonderful actor, known throughout history as one of the greatest actors we ever had. And celebrities are honoring Kirk Douglas and all the work he put in. Hollywood has lost an actor whose acclaimed body of work was emblematic of the golden age of film. Defined the ideal manly man persona in the 1950s, often electrically appealing performances while playing less than exemplary characters. He is dead at the age of 103 years old. He was in Spartacus, and plus he survived a helicopter accident in the early 90s when 2 people died, and he later had a stroke, and he managed to get past all that. The past 20 years have been him surviving past a stroke. Yes, evidence we had. You think Lincoln and Kennedy both were murdered? I agree. No, I'm sorry, Donald, you're not right. They're going to go after you again. There's total collusion here and abuse of power. Yeah, they're not done yet. Just get ready for round 2, Donald. Yeah, the Democrats are coming up with new articles of impeachment. They're not done with this yet. Eventually, we'll get some of the Republican brain-dead senators to somehow wake up to the fact that you've been working for Russia secretly. Now, not one senator asked to get an apology from Trump. Let me say goodbye to the legendary icon, Kirk Douglas, for this time period, though. Goodbye, Kirk. We'll see you in heaven, man. Thanks for being a great guy. Yeah, many of the Republican senators who are lost, absolutely lost, don't realize they're going to lose in the upcoming election in 2020. And I'll urge people to vote Democrats just to get more balance. I will. I'll dedicate my entire show to getting people to vote more balanced party activities. So if you think you can control the destiny of this country by locking down on the testimony of 2 senators, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, you got another thing coming. The Democrats are so corrupt, and they are, believe me, corrupt. They've been taking money from Russians and Ukrainians, and just like the Republicans, they've been dining on foreign currency. Believe it or not, they get re-election money from super PACs that are coming from countries like Russia. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham have been doing just that with Len Blavatnik, a Russian oligarch who works for Oleg Deripaska. He actually is the guy that supposedly interfered in our election. Oleg Deripaska got Len Blavatnik to pay off the 2 top senators. That's how you guys had a slam dunk in the Senate. But that's going to be exposed eventually. The truth cannot be suppressed. It'll be coming up, bubbling up to the top. So you can sit back and party right now thinking Donald Trump has a clean slate. He is dirtier than hell itself. He is the embodiment of corruption in our government right now. He is the poster child of how we've turned a blind eye to the homeless, to the environment, embracing in the military-industrial complex with more war machines, even hairs on his feet showing he had bone spur surgery. I can prove that, but I don't want to. You guys are applauding a veritable draft dodger running our country. A man who, when his own employees died in a helicopter accident in 1989, he said, "This is great press. This is great press." Yeah, that's what he said. And this is all public fact. He said, "This is great press." He didn't say, "I'm so sorry for the loss of these men." This is great press. So you've got to understand the mindset here. Donald Trump thinks only about himself. When he looks at the Constitution, he doesn't have we the people, he has me the people. And you essentially have put your faith and your hope behind a megalomaniac who simply is padding his pocket to the tune of over $100 million a year as president. He didn't need a salary because he knew he could make a lot more parading around the country playing golf, forcing our Secret Service to follow him in a golf cart and stay in hotel rooms that cost $600 a night. We're not making any comments about the Kobe helicopter accident. Why Kobe switched his helicopter out with one that looked like a standard Sikorsky is beyond me. Yeah. He must have been having problems with his custom-painted Nike helicopter the day he decided to crash, because that's not the crash fuselage in the pictures. It's the picture of a standard Sikorsky helicopter. So, I don't know where Kobe is at this point. If he's died, I'm sorry for his family. I express condolences, etc., etc. Hey, on a positive note, Michelle Obama is going to have a tribute movie made by Viola Davis. She's going to play the person we know as Michelle Obama. Isn't that great? Yeah. Well, the problem is Michelle is not a woman like Viola. Michelle's a dude. And we know this because a woman died for it. That's right, a woman named Joan Rivers, one of the at the Yorkville endoscopy clinic.
Just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay.
Well, that was 2 months after Joan was called the most powerful man on the planet, a homosexual. She died. Yeah, about a month and a half afterwards. Sarah and I even said in our show, she's not going to make it past a month and a half. And prophetically, we were right. It's on record. Unfortunately, though, this woman, beautiful woman, Viola Davis, could not do justice to the first lady we've had who put on the biggest acting job of all, pretended to be a woman. Look closely at this picture of Michelle Obama dancing with Ellen DeGeneres and tell me that there's not something between her legs there. That's not normal for a woman to have that type of movement in a dance. So I'm sorry, but I cry BS when I see BS. I'm not going to stand around and think that Michelle is a woman. This woman, Viola Davis, will do a great job, I'm sure. But you really need a dude to play that role. All right. You saw it. I didn't have to make that up. That's a real film. It's not photoshopped. Okay, now let's dig into the disaster that's going on all across the globe with the coronavirus and the breakout. I'm going to show you some clips that'll kind of amaze you. Goodbye. So nice to see you, Kirk. That's not the clip I was trying to show you. Sorry. Here is a man in China being forced into a van to be quarantined. He can't not be quarantined. They're sticking him in the van whether he likes it or not. Who are you going to call? Yeah. Ghostbusters? Okay, now we go to an equally disturbing picture. Woman refusing to wear mask is taken down by several officers. You ready for this? She just didn't want to wear a mask in her shop. She's probably the owner. Yeah, the Nazis said the same thing. It was for her own protection, but now she's got organs that would be very, very beneficial for the organ harvesting program in China, so they're just going to go ahead and take her away. So they're going to zip tie her away and take her away for simply not wanting to wear a mask. Welcome to China and the new totalitarian regime that they're forcing upon people. No, ma'am, your purse, you're not allowed to carry your purse. I'm so sorry. She's clinging to her purse right now. See that? No, she'll be taken to the re-education camp, and then they'll harvest her organs like they did all the Falun Gong members. This is the organization, the Chinese government. This is the government that Donald Trump just signed a treaty with without any measures of draconian civil rights violations. Now, here's a woman in Chinese market who just simply passed out in the produce section. And we don't know why people are walking around and then passing out, but watch this. She's just laying there. See? She decided to become one with the dike. Now, here's a train station. I'm not going to play the Monopoly game at McDonald's, no. There they are. The checkpoint Charlies are in place. This is a man refusing to give his phone to Chinese police. We don't know why. These just came in from Bengalitis tonight. Here he is. They want to take his phone. Maybe they wanted a contact list of people that he may have been contacting in Wuhan. So if somebody needed a kidney, heart transplant, that woman was a very good candidate. This guy might be a good place to harvest organs too. You never know if he's not infected. So Trump does deals with countries that harvest organs from innocent people. I'm not making this up. This is a known fact. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Falun Gong members are being harvested as we speak. I'm sorry, you can't use "Keep America Great" here. That's my logo that Trump stole from me. Scissor Fight was in the room. Remember that Scissor Fight? I came up with a "Keep America Great" in 2015. Yeah, I remember that. And then I literally said it on the show a few times, and then all of a sudden Trump was using it as his new logo for 2020. Yeah, see? Thumbs up. He remembers. Yeah, I couldn't get over Donald Trump was using "Make America Great Again." So I've got a new one called "Actually Make America Great." I'm coming up with a new hat, a MAGA. Yeah, a MAGA. Actually Make America Great. Yeah. So the MAGA logo is now born. A MAGA. I'm great again. That's right. Okay, so here we are. Guy got taken away. Another one bites the dust. And another one down, and another one down. Now I've got 3 more live leaks for you, but I don't want to bring those up. Then we had a really great submission from Scissor Fight tonight. Yeah, "Make America Gooder." I know. That's what Trump would say. The MAGA has been born again. Make America great again. Again. Actually make America great. That's right. Well, I don't know. It's now my thing. MAGA. Okay, coronavirus inside China, Wuhan outbreak. We've got a 54-minute video we'll play at 10 o'clock tonight, so if you want to sleep now and wake up later to watch it, you can. But it shows that the city has been pretty much cleaned out. I do want Rush Limbaugh to survive cancer. Yeah, he was the Medal of Freedom yesterday. Very You have another MAGA? Okay.
The other market that we're going down that way doesn't usually have that many people, so it'll be a little bit better. This is the shortcut that I usually take to get to the main shopping area, but as of now, you have to go around to the south area to get your temperature taken. You can't actually walk in here anymore. I think this street right here is probably one of the most packed, busiest streets in Beijing. Like, people will come up to this bridge just to take pictures of how many cars there are, get beautiful shots. And like, it's the kind of area that cab drivers don't even want to come to just because they know they're going to get stuck here for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And now it's just...
So normally this place is full of traffic, but this, as you can see, there's hardly anybody here. The whole city of Wuhan has been completely evacuated. Now, this is the real troubling part about this whole story, is that breaking news, China will admit the coronavirus is coming from its P4 lab. Now, I was the one that said that the bioweapons lab in Wuhan was the source of this virus. I was right. Yeah. So there's a big, huge problem right now with the reality check that is facing us. The Wuhan Institute of Virology was right near the Hunan seafood market, and China did nothing to stop this. But the strange thing is, China is beginning to blame the U.S. because of our involvement in their top secret weapons program. Go figure. So as this story spools out, we'll find out if anyone's going to really, sling some dirt at each other, because China's very careful to name and blame. But we're actually I'm blaming China for allowing this to have dangerous consequences. They should have listened to the warnings that were told to them to never have a weapons testing lab near a metropolitan area. Common sense tells you that. So now we're looking at a spread across the world that could grow to as many as 300,000 infected in the next couple days. Hi, Sarah. And put our head in the sand. Rush Limbaugh has not advanced our nation, and to give him the Medal of Freedom is kind of a sad thing, considering he's been more divisive than most people. People are buying face masks in Hong Kong. Look at the lineup. It's amazing. They're just buying face masks. Everybody's trying to buy face masks. They don't have enough. They didn't prepare. We're going to mute you. Anyone talking about my personal life, you don't get to stay on the show for very long. Now, Trump made a big impact on a lot of Republicans. They seem to like him. And like I said earlier, the stock market has gone up pretty high. The Dow Jones is screaming forward to up 483 points today to 29,290. So it's recovered from last week's losses, and now it's screaming forward. So we'll see if that makes any progress for some of you investors. Okay, meanwhile, back at the farm, pull that off.
I agree with Awesome Carl Show, fake Awesome Carl Show. Standing in that line to get a face mask is more risky than staying at home.
You're right. Standing in line to get a face mask is more risky than staying at home. Whether it hits 30,000 or not, it's irrelevant, because what they're doing now is borrowing money to pad the stock market. Last week it was announced that $1.5 trillion is somehow missing in the banks. Steve Mnuchin was questioned about it. He doesn't know where it went. So they've been dumping money into the stock market to pad it to make it look like it's doing really well. This story is about Mitt Romney, who was one of the few senators, Republicans, that voted not to acquit. And here's his legitimate response in The Atlantic. He said, comparing the president's behavior to that of an autocrat, the Republican senator explains to The Atlantic why he's voting to convict him. Mitt Romney didn't want to go through with it. This has been the most difficult decision I've ever had to make in my life, he told this person yesterday. 24 hours later, Romney would deliver a speech announcing that he was voting to convict Donald Trump on the first article of impeachment, abuse of power. For weeks, the senator from Utah had sat silently in the impeachment trial alongside his 99 colleagues, reviewing the evidence at night and praying for guidance. The gravity of the moment weighed on him, as did the pressure from members of his own party to acquit their leader. As his conscience tugged at him, he said that the exercise took on spiritual dimension. Romney, a devout member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, described to me the power of taking an oath before God. It's something which I take very seriously, he said. Throughout the trial, he said he was guided by his father's favorite verse of the more process of very thorough analysis and searching, and I prayed through this process, he told me, but I don't pretend that God told me what to do. In the end, the evidence was inescapable. He says the president did in fact pressure a foreign government to corrupt our election process, Romney said. And really, corrupting an election process in a democratic republic is about as abusive and egregious an act against the Constitution and one's oath that I can imagine. It's what autocrats do. All right. Thank you, Mitt Romney. You won my respect. Thank you, Guest 265. You love sleeping to my voice? That's good. I have that dulcimer voice that everyone loves to listen to. Well, I think it's awesome that Romney stepped out of the box and showed the way to the Republicans and how their party could be molded after a more wholesome image as opposed to this corrupt image of Donald Trump. Sarah, I can't access either Twitch or Periscope. They were heavily DDoSing me over there. And we had a spam attack from people that claim they get paid for whatever that's worth. So that happened earlier. So we are doing Vaughn and iVlog tonight and YouTube. Thank you, Ron, for coming into our show at YouTube. Sarah's here for a little while. I'll give you the stage and I'll be making some dinner. Yeah, Mitt Romney won my my appreciation, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. That's good. Neither Froggy nor Hay likes Mitt Romney. I don't know. It all depends. Is it Lieutenant Drebin? Yeah, what kind of name is Mitt? I don't know. Good to know, Digital Mall Rat. Sarah, can you moderate a stock inventing discussion? I would say if you're going to invent stock, a stock investing discussion, I don't know enough about stock investing to but I can always ask. Isn't a moderator just like asking questions about it? I'm sure this stream is stopping over and over. I apologize for that. Well, there's not a lot I could do about it, but no, you can't. Whatever, it's your house, Cherry. Go take care of your own business. Super Dave knows a lot of stuff. I don't know about that herbal ascension. To me, buying penny stocks can end up being a waste because, yeah, you're investing in people that aren't making a lot of money to start with. One of the things I have read some things about stocks, and there's this book called The Little Book of Value Investing. There's also, I've read some about value investing, and the big things are to look at the books of different stock companies or different companies, and really losing pennies is a joke. Yeah, but what if you invest a lot more than just like a penny in it? You invest like, $100, $200 in your penny stocks. That no longer becomes a joke. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, but, well, I think you have to have a minimum investment, otherwise they're going to charge you, and then, for the stock investment. Yeah, that's a good idea. Steve-O asks, can you show us how to make a homemade face mask that matches your homemade? What would be cool? That would be cool. Yeah, I was just thinking people could sew their own masks. Well, according to, who was that? Ex-FBI director James Comey. He's actually into women soiling his bed. Not him, but his bed. He says he's a neat freak, or You made $200 from 23 cent stocks. The big thing with stocks is to look at the company's financials, financial paperwork, and see if they're in debt. It's probably yes, it is odd. Is everybody else, is the stream slow? Is it just when I'm on? No. The It's crazy scary how a tiny spot next to a bad tooth can so easily kill you. Wow. Interesting. No. Private payroll soar, the best gain in 5 years. And it's record economic optimism. Amazon paid a 1.2% tax rate on $13 billion in profit. Yesterday they said Tesla's stock. That's weird. Buttigieg holds the Iowa lead, but the party announces a minor correction to caucus results. Why not click the links? You can click the links. I just don't want to. Oh, sorry. I'll try. Ethicists have been hired to save tech's soul. Will anyone let them? I don't think so. And the Trudeau administration proposes government licenses for news websites. Why do you want me to read that, Trump Tardo? He just asked me not to. Cranky Beans just said, please don't do that. I thought it was Liza Minnelli opens up in a rare interview. 13 million visitors to Moscow this year. He'll be here shortly. Oh, that's a good point, Froggy. And a 7-Eleven opened up a cashierless store. Wow. A 68-year-old woman tased a 73-year-old husband after he asked for a separation. Man, that's sad. Oh, because there's so much to talk about, and David reverts to chemtrails and DDoS attacks. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't think so. All you see is black as well? Okay, I'll go off and come back on. Hopefully that will help. I just refreshed the screen. Ski. I don't know. Try to refresh. Chiefs' alcohol consumption during the Super Bowl victory parade divides some onlookers. They celebrated their victory of Super Bowl 54 on Wednesday morning, taking part in a massive parade. Some members of the team boarded double-decker buses for the trip. Others danced shirtless in the streets. The entire procession weaved through downtown before ultimately coming to a stop in front of a massive stage. Over the course of the parades, the players were shown chugging beer. Fans of the teams were throwing cans and bottles of beer in the directions of the player, like Patrick Mahomes, and they responded by cracking them open and downing the contents. This led to some moments in which the various players were viewed as being hammered. They were driving with an open container, public intoxication, indecent exposure, littering. Wow. Wow. All right. I guess I don't really care that they were drinking. But you're right about public intoxication, as long as they themselves weren't driving. Yeah, for you, money. Hello, Joe Pesci. Actually, so that's good. Joe Biden vows to continue his presidential race despite the Iowa gut punch. I'm sorry, Norsky. That's sad. Wow. In a letter to Jeff Bezos, a mom says Alexa has ruined her 6-year-old's life because her daughter's is named Alexa. So they Yeah, we used to use a nonstick, but Tefal or nonstick frying pans, but David doesn't trust the Tefal anymore. Yeah, poor people named Alexa. But I'm sorry, 808. I cannot comply. Bernie Madoff says he's dying and he wants out of prison. Poor guy.
You want another slice of pizza?
No.
Okay.
Wow, a 32-year-old U.S. citizen dies in border custody in Texas. It's the same brand I always eat, Trump Tardo. We've had deep conversations about that. Oh, he was a suspect in a human smuggling incident. The man was arrested about 3:30 p.m. Tuesday by agents assigned to the signs of distress. They administered first aid and called local emergency services. Wow. Oh, okay. Good to know. I think Amana still has microwaves for sale. I thought I saw an Amana microwave for sale at Home Depot over Christmas break. And at least 10 on this cruise ship in Japan have tested positive for the coronavirus. And a quarantined British passenger is worried about the food on the cruise ship. Eggs on your new Tefal. It cooks like a charm. Yeah, they say that those stickless ones are really good.
Take over.
Okay.
Thank you. And there's chicken and chard on the stove
Oh, okay.
with an
Thank
onion mushroom medley. A few things we've processed, which is great. Lots of information gathering. So far, Trump has brought 550 people into the U.S. from Wuhan, which is very risky. And there's more on their way to San Diego. Yeah, so apparently a lot of people had to evacuate. We brought them in, and they're going to have them in quarantine for 14 days. Thank you. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Sarah gives me the time to make some dinner and have some pizza and cut size of contingent to world's big mobile phone market. You know, if they're all dead from the coronavirus, gee, you know. Thanks for helping provide manufacturing for years. And China may very well have a historic, purpose to provide technology for the world before they all infect themselves. Quarantine should mean 40 days. You're right. I agree with Medveral. We normally don't agree, and I can agree with you that it is exponential. I mean, there's nothing purely arithmetic about the growth rate. Why would Sarah do a competing show when she barely even can spend the time in our show as it is? I mean, you don't realize that she's dragging herself in here to give you 2 half-hour segments? You don't realize that? What the hell, man? How could she ever have her own show? It would take her forever to do that. Her life would be focused on that. I've dedicated my life to this show. She's kind enough to give you 4 hours of her time. I'm capable of doing more of a show than she is because I'm retired. I have plenty of time on my hands. Yeah, I can relax and enjoy discussing things. What do you like about her show? The fact that she doesn't talk much, just looks at the camera and smiles, and what is it you really want from me? How can I be more like Sarah? I don't really care what you're not even a regular person here, hey? We hardly even know you. Hey, gosh, Harvey Weinstein's defense pulls out dress accuser, says she wore during attack. Wow. How did Harvey Weinstein get the dress of the woman who he allegedly attacked? Hay is for horses, yeah. Well, apparently chat's kind of slowed down, so I'm back up and running. His defense pulls out the dress the accuser says she wore during the attack. Okay, so he keeps dresses of his victims he attacks? Dave, Google Michelle Obama is a man. Obama's wife is a man. I've been telling people that for the past 8 years, or at least since at least since she died. Yeah, the legendary comedian Joan Rivers. Okay, let's take a look. Webcast, Secret Service scandal, Michelle Obama. Former nanny talks about transgender life in Muslim County. Huh. Is it a YouTube video we're talking about?
Lose unwanted pounds. So what helped her lose another pair?
On this Tuesday, Cartageneses of the school's president's deadliest masks and plaques at her.
Anytime,
Take a look. During a video chat on the Ellen DeGeneres show, Mrs. Obama admitted that her slit up to here look was a little risque. In fact,
that's a dead end. I don't know why you sent me there. That doesn't show me anything. There's 300 types of semen on that dress. That's the point. Oh, okay. So he puts women in a certain dress before he rapes them? Is that what you're saying? Does this appear to be the dress that you were wearing? They asked, unfurling it and presenting it to Young. Lauren Young said she had on overslip when Weinstein allegedly attacked her at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She said yes, she replied. Prior to Young's testimony, it was revealed that she'd recently found the garment and that it would be sent to LA County prosecutors who may test it for DNA. Okay. Weinstein led her into the bathroom of his suite at the Montage Beverly Hills Hotel, came behind me and unzipped her dress and started pulling it down. He then turned around and he started masturbating while grasping my right breast with his left hand while jerking off with his right hand, saying, "How am I going to know you can act?" Young said. What an appalling display of power-mongering by Harvey Weinstein. If indeed he raped this woman, and if she's correct that he doesn't have testicles, but instead has a vagina, we're dealing with kind of an anomaly here. A man who is some sort of a alleged hermaphrodite becoming so obsessed with conquering women that he becomes the most powerful man in Washington. Friends to all these famous people like Oprah Winfrey and Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Hey, now that Trump is completely feeling like he can continue committing crimes after crimes and secret phone calls with Vladimir Putin, he's systematically trying to disable the entire renewable energy sector. He's withholding almost $1 billion in renewable energy funding. Yeah, he's kind of going against the grain of even Republicans that supported George W. Bush and put in a lot of, like T. Boone Pickens, remember him? Yeah, he passed away. Yeah, you can't take it with you, right? He died September 11th, 2019. Lots on those energy credits, but no more. Yeah, Donald Trump would rather build war machines than renewable energy. And yes, R.I.P. Kirk Douglas. Kirk. Great guy. Lived to be 103. Can't blame him, really. He lived his life as fully as he possibly could. He died at the incredible age of 103. He wrote about his father. Yeah. He was the ragman's son to the very end. And Michael Douglas wrote, "Dad, I love you so much, and I'm so proud to be your son," read Michael Douglas. Full tribute to his father. And we all know Michael Douglas from, Streets of San Francisco days, and obviously greedy stockbroker. No. Bad a long time ago. Seems like just yesterday, really, when you think about all that has happened since then. But man, it was like almost 20 years ago he died. My father. I lost him when I was 40 years old, so Michael has had a lot longer time to be with his father. Bless you. Nancy Pelosi pre-ripped pages of Trump's SOTU speech video shows. Oh, really? She pre-ripped them so she wouldn't have to struggle? Let's take a look. Yeah, boy, that Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts...
Almost every American family knows the pain when a loved one is diagnosed with a serious illness. Here tonight is a special man, beloved by millions of Americans.
Oh, so she was pre-ripping him on the side, yeah. And what a boring speech. That State of the Union was just... It was like I told, come back from the war, and here he is! And he opens the door, and the kid's like going, Daddy, Daddy! And it's obvious they'd met each other in the back room, but the kid was asked to look surprised. It was almost like a pre-cut, cookie-cutter first State of the Union by Donald Trump that was right out of the Celebrity Apprentice days, It felt like a Celebrity Apprentice production. And he pulled the black card, too. He catered to the black vote. He did all the things that are traditional and uninspiring in a speech. None of us can really relate to Donald Trump. Everything about him seems to be insulated by his ivory tower or his golden spoon lifestyle that he's been living his whole life. He doesn't relate to any of us. And he disregards the safety and the life of all these poor people at the border with Mexico who are struggling right now. He acts like they're lesser than human. Typical racist behavior. And he demoralizes all the people that have phobias. It's gone full nationwide. The whole scrim is laid out for you. Not only did Donald Trump commit obstruction of Congress and abuse of power, which has been proven, the impeachment still stands. He's one of the presidents who's been impeached. That'll never be taken away from him. But now the Senate commits obstruction. In lieu of the 36 felonies by the Trump people having been committed, the Senate stands there and acts like they don't want to take witnesses. You're right. Trump is a demagogue. Exactly. By definition. And he's using race and any means possible to keep gaining advantage. It's pathetic. Your Hollywood president. He absolutely represents nothing of substance. Apparently the senators couldn't vote in private. They had to vote publicly. And all their votes were read out. I listened to the entire votes today on NPR radio. It was like the roll of deceased people in a massive disaster. It was almost like the same somber feeling I felt when John F. Kennedy was laid to rest when I was just a little boy, about 3 years old. Senator Sherrod Brown, GOP senators were too afraid of Trump's tweet to convict him. Yeah, I agree. History does not look kindly on politicians who cannot fathom a fate worse than losing an upcoming election. That's true. The one exception was Mitt Romney. Thank goodness he did that. Brown said that the GOP senators aren't excusing the president's behavior in private, acknowledging him behind closed doors that Trump's quid pro quo with Ukraine was reckless and unfit. In private, many of my colleagues, he says, agree that the president is reckless and unfit. They admit his lies, and they acknowledge what he did was wrong, Brown writes. They know this president has done things Richard Nixon never did, and they know that more damning evidence is likely to come out. Several Republican senators have somewhat suggested as much in public statements that acknowledge the president's wrongdoing while still arguing for his acquittal. From Senator Lamar Alexander saying that Senate trial witnesses were not required to provide something that has already been proven. To Senator Susan Collins claiming that Trump has learned from this case and will be much more cautious in the future. When asked about the statement on Wednesday on Fox News after the president made it clear he did not believe there's anything for him to learn from, Collins admitted she may not be correct on that and said her view is more aspirational on my part. Why is this woman running? Why is she even a senator in the great state of Maine? What has she turned into but a veritable joke, a mush? Yeah. I don't think Kirk Douglas really had to suck anything out of Social Security or Medicare. Kirk Douglas's net worth upon his death is an amazing $60 million. So he had plenty of cash when he died. He didn't need to have to draw from Social Security. Okay, you can't see the video. You need Periscope. Periscope, it wasn't working earlier. I can try it again. Yeah, let me get it in there. Hang on. Yeah, he learned a lesson. He's going to be more of an asshole than ever now. You're right. Yeah, he learned his lesson. Oh, get ready for the Donald Trump Unleashed. You thought it was bad up to this point. Get ready for the next wave. Is the scumbag Trump going to be around? That is my opinion. Yeah, all I can say, he's a corrupt Russian ally. That's the best I could call him. Corrupt Russian ally. That's the best I have for him. What you have, you don't even realize what you've done. What you Republicans have done, you'll find out later in life. Every one of you will be guilty in your mind, and you will know that what you did was very wrong. And it's sad that you yourselves are going to realize this the hard way. I would have rather we did it this way. This was the easy way, but not in your mind. Okay, I'm going to go live just to see if I can get the broadcast over here. Hey, you can believe whatever you want. I believe wholeheartedly that Donald Trump is working for Russia. And I've seen the proof. You guys didn't want to look at the details. You want to ignore every little aspect of it. So this is what I get when I go on Periscope. They've like perma-DDoSed me over there. I can't get the screen to come up. If you can, that'd be great. But see, it's of no value. I knew that Periscope and Twitch were vulnerable. Both of them were controlled by somebody who could stop every one of our shows. So we know that that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't consider him anything but other than a common criminal, Donald Trump. No, he's not in my eyes. He doesn't even qualify as president in my eyes because he cheated the election. We know that to be a fact. The fact that you people are carrying on this illegal government with the Senate obviously committing obstruction of justice, good luck. You know, you've got a lot of problems right now that you don't even know. Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham working for the Russians. Wow, you people really are out to lunch. 36 felonies by Trump's people. It's almost like you're living in a dream world or something. Like you somehow think that this can't possibly be happening. Our great president, he would never do these things. Yeah, it's like you're in a la-la land. It's really kind of pathetic. I can't even have a conversation with you retardicans. You expect me to bow to safety as opposed to arc that to his advantage, because there's no way anybody like Mitch McConnell would have allowed a sealed vote. A secret ballot would have been the only fair way to do this. And I really grew to respect Mitt Romney more because he did stand out and told the rest of them people that this isn't what he calls a Republican. This is definitely have been misuse of power, abuse of power. All right. It really feels like something incredibly stupid and retroactive happened today. I know, guess 467. Good way to put it. Well, since many of you Republicans refuse to acknowledge that Donald Trump was great, I'm glad many Sicilians are watching me, Joe. Oh, I consider Mitt Romney an elevated Republican of the highest order, a true, real conservative. Yeah, I want to shake his hand. I really like him so much now. One of America's most prominent racists just received the Presidential Medal of Honor. Yeah. And then on top of it, Trump gives the Presidential Medal of Honor, which normally goes to heroes. Medal of Freedom, excuse me. Presidential Medal of Freedom. To Rush Limbaugh. During the State of the Union, Donald Trump bestowed the highest civilian honor on Rush Limbaugh. Yeah. In Rush, in recognition of all you've done for our nation, the millions of people today who speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work you have done for charity, I'm proud to announce tonight he will be receiving our country's highest, and you will be receiving our country's highest civilian in 1963 to honor Americans who have made especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural, and other significant public or private endeavors. Limbaugh, recently diagnosed with lung cancer, has devoted his decade-long radio career to building an audience of millions of listeners with his brand of right-wing, xenophobic, and patently racist populism that Trump borrowed on his rise to power. Medal of Honors to all these cronies of his party will make you really not want to get that Presidential Medal of Freedom. Matt Gaetz files an ethics charge against Nancy Pelosi, destroying charges. Well, so be it. Who cares? I'm not jealous of Rush, Jacob. I don't really want the Presidential Medal of Freedom now that Rush got it. Yeah, remember, Donald Trump stole 15 of my ideas to win the 2016 election. If anything, he should be giving me an honorable mention at the very least, let alone a Presidential Medal of Freedom. So, I mean, I don't even get a phone call saying, "Thanks, Dave, I appreciate all the ideas I stole from you." Yeah, Mother Teresa was honored that award. You heard about Mother Teresa, didn't you? She wasn't the nice, sweet lady that they thought she was. Yeah, when the Vatican was looking at a sainthood for Mother Teresa, they reviewed her case. She didn't get that many accolades from some of her parishioners. I don't suspect Trump will ever mention me, no, unless he has to. I sure hope that they store them in the Library of Congress. She had every right to do whatever she wanted with her copy of a document. Yeah. What if she had started vomiting uncontrollably on the document? Would we put that in the Library of Congress, hermetically sealed, so that we keep her smell of vomit on it level? They were both equally disrespected among their people. We have the chance to kill Monsanto, yet with Trump as your president? Is that a joke? Don't tell me you think that Pete Buttigieg is going to be your environmental care guy. He doesn't have any environmental concerns at all. Oh, your company's coming out with a natural fertilizer to compete with Monsanto? Great. But the coronavirus has a chance to ruin your dad's business with China? That's not good. Wow. So here your dad's making some progress against the big giant Monsanto, and his business to China is now reeling. Trump didn't reduce the tariffs on China at all. Neither did China reduce the tariffs on our farms. Or on anything they export. Andrew Yang, beards want to go organic. I started it all. I got the wheel rolling on a company that became the largest organic food supplier and convinced the manager or the general manager of Safeway's Foods that organic was definitely something they should carry. I'll never forget the feeling of joy he had on his face. It was like I made a sale, and I said, "So what do you want to buy?" And he said, "Nothing." And he started laughing. I was laughing with him because he really wanted to just create it himself. I didn't care about the sale. Frustration grows in China as masks compromise facial recognition. Oh, too bad. Yeah, let me move out of the impeachment room into will the Chinese government be able to know who's behind the masks if they have to put everybody in a mask? They didn't think this thing through too well when they created a bioweapon, did they? Oh, bioweapon not good for facial recognition. Yeah. Face masks are mandatory in at least 2 provinces in China, including the city of Wuhan, in an effort to go out in public. There you have it. So that person is, we don't know who that person is. So there goes their jaywalking tickets from facial recognition. There goes their social credit system from facial recognition. Gee, they're kind of working in 2 different directions, aren't they? When they allowed a bioweapons lab to be near one of the most management Trump-tard sees me wearing my ATP windbreaker and matching Vote for Spoonheim pin when he says Sponheim is a crusty-haired chode. So you hit your manager in the face? Really? And you said, "This is Sponheim country, bitch." Wow. So did you lose your job? But he doesn't want free money. He does. He has a plan to give away 1,000 per person, including illegal aliens. So I don't recommend that. If you're looking for a free handout out there, you know, this is one way of doing it. $500 per month. He's in the 1%. All the Democrats that are running are in the 1%. You look at that. Andrew Yang's net worth is, he's making money on these poor Democrats. Yeah, show me a link. I don't think Sensei James ever had a video taken with a backdoor scenario. Yes, Hollywood icon has died. Kirk Douglas has passed away. You know, there's such finality when... Let's take a look. Wow, that's too bad. Okay, so Rush is... they say he may run for president if he kicks the cancer. So he's saying he may just run for president. So count him in. You Republicans have a lot to hope for with this guy with end-stage lung cancer running. And now that you Republicans don't like Mitt Romney, the one last best Republican you've got... Boy, you really have lost your way, you Republicans. The arrest accuser says she wore during the attack. Yeah, big deal. We already covered the fact that she thought he had a vagina. That was pretty funny. And you don't want to hear this one, but yeah, I like this. I'm going to put this in my Trump Sucks department. Sending it to Flipboard in the Trump Sucks room. There it is. Okay. Now, as promised, more terrible, disastrous pictures from Wuhan. Chinese streets being disinfected.
Okay, my friends, this is a test. It is only a test.
Academic review of dragon carcass. Okay, this is...
That is his fluty things. This is it to show you this Rocco. Now, that's all the effluent, his tail. And over here, you can see his tail. Now, you do have Google Earth, I'm sure, so I am going to really fly through this. Now, he is attacking a giant fish. And that right there, my friends, is the stuff that he spit out at the giant fish. It is extremely noxious. And I have found and you will too, if you look at this very carefully, if you come way back up in here, this right in his throat is the injectors. You see, these are the red and the green injectors. Ooh, nastiness flows from there. Now, what did he try to do? He tried to kill that fish. and he attacked him on his fin, and it attacked his vital flesh. And that is a fish, gigantic, very large fish, over the top of Atlantis, right here. And I have shown the boats and so forth, right? Buildings, you know, it's all right in here. So I want to get out of here quick so that you can see this fast. Share it with your friends. It all ran out here. This was a huge flood.
Dragon eating a dead fish is actually a giant bison that had laid to rest pre-alluvial. Yeah. You can see the eye right here. It's crystal clear. Right there, see it? And, right. I'll make it more evident for you so you can look at it. But you see this is the eye of the animal. It's obvious. And then this is the outer eye of the animal. If it were to have nostrils, it would be right there. And yeah, that's stat. And I have to announce this, Kirk Douglas is still dead. Now, there is hope that with modern technology, and if he does choose cryogenics, that Kirk Douglas will come back to do Spartacus 2. Or possibly if he's placental matter. Was famous for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This is just an outside thought that, and I know this is not related to waste reduction, but I think it's a pretty realistic thought that Devil's Peak might very well be a trunk. It doesn't exist at one time on this planet, so in theory the guy could be right about the dragon. I'm not going to call him completely nuts, but he's on his way to being completely nuts. If he keeps focusing on that subject, he will go completely nuts. Yeah, I saw a dragon in the desert on Google Earth, man. Now, one more live leak. This has been great. Bengalitis gave me these live leaks to fill the show during this depressing time when our president just had obstruction of justice committed by the Senate. Here's a drone used to deliver groceries for quarantine. Up and away. People quarantined for 14 days, couldn't get packages, and they got drone packages. Drone drops of food. Any day now. Very nice. Nice. Good. So they finally got some help. Here they're being dropped by the drone right there. Thank you, Mass Madman. Thank you, drone. During Burning Man, brah. I know. One of the reasons why you don't want to take shrooms, because you'll start hallucinating. You'll see the green spaceship.
9th confirmed case of coronavirus.
Again tonight. Play it again, Sam. Here we go. I have not seen this. Okay. What you just saw there was a person infected with the virus blowing her nose. What about treating shrooms for depression, Dave? I've heard there's some positive results, cluster headaches too. But the thing about dining on mushroom burgers with psilocybin in them, just to get off for the day. It's like any drug, it kind of hits your receptors and knocks them down, and you can't really get a feeling out of the drug again the same way you did the first time. So if you have no other option and you have a cluster headache, I guess they're doing studies in Nevada currently. Here she is. Oh, it's people dropping their rags on the ground and contaminated by people and the rags. So they're touching the rags down by their feet. And these people are having fun. They think it's all a big joke. Getting cross-contaminated at the same time. Touching the same things they were touching. Everyone's using a napkin. And he's purposely wiping, and look at this. He's purposely contaminating the item. He thinks it's funny. Look at that. Wow. He thinks it's a big joke. Thank you. Unbelievable. So, that tells a lot right there. Did we ever find out for sure that Iowa caucus Pete Buttigieg has won it? Have we verified that yet, or are the Democrats not quite sure yet? Actually, the problem is China has been warned about this bioweapons lab. They know it's a bioweapon. The Dems just came back in a big way, hey. You Republicans just forced a lot of people who were independent to become Democrats. Yeah. By not taking on the real issues and dealing with the criminal offenses that Donald Trump has done, you just walked away from the 2020 election. You're going to lose the House and the Senate now. The Dems won back my respect in some ways by even processing an impeachment. I kept talking about how they needed to have an impeachment. There wasn't any word from Pelosi, and then all of a sudden they did the impeachment. I gained more respect for them as a result of that. As a former Democrat, I'm still not a Democrat. I mean, look at the atrocities Joe Biden committed when he was young.
The quality of stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
The second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
It cannot measure the health of our children.
The health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
Or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
He was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
Hey, we need to see all sides of Joe Biden, because being he's the only guy who can beat Donald Trump, that doesn't say a lot for Donald Trump, does it? Seriously. Joe Biden said a lot of weird things. He's known for that, but so is Donald Trump.
Thank you. Maggie, do you want to come over here?
Times when he gently rearranges a young girl's hair and whispers in her ear, then rearranges some more. There's something pervy here as he leans in for a kiss.
Thank you. Thank
Equivocation here. We got Joe up close and personal. Everything he does is weird, but he's not weirder than our president, I'll tell you that. Our unrepentant, adulterous president.
I can't talk.
Well, let me talk for you, okay? This is the deal. Donald Trump has been spending money, $450,000, to keep stories about his alleged affairs from getting into the press during the 2016 election. He ostensibly cheated by not reporting that to the Federal Election Commission. That's a Class C felony, by the way, of which Michael Cohen is serving time right now. Yeah. Yeah, you have to talk logically. Right. Anyway. Well, whatever. Biden can say whatever he wants because, remember, the bar is so low. We have a person who's mentally retarded as our president, or I should say mildly retarded. Barr could stutter all. I mean, at least Biden went to law school. Trump couldn't even make it to the first step. He somehow got a MIC degree from Wharton because his dad made a large donation. I seriously doubt Trump could even read when he graduated from college. Based on what I've seen, he stumbles over his words. He must have worked really hard on that speech. And because you Republicans just keep sucking up to this big, huge Russian dick sucker, really makes me wonder, what's going on here? Are you Republicans, Rush-ublicans? Are you working for Russia now? Are all you Republicans who think you're making America great when you're turning America into the most bankrupt nation on earth because you've got the biggest spender on earth, Donald Trump? They are in denial. It's kind of amazing. Slash, by the way, thank you. I didn't like Obama because I'm not a big left guy. I'm no longer a Democrat, but if you want to believe Obama did things, that's your choice. I still contend that Trump is hurting us as opposed to just trying to do good things, which you could say that about Obama, but he costs us $300 billion more per year with Obamacare. And the website alone cost us $2 billion to keep running. Trump is spending money left and right. Remember what Trump said recently, that he got $1 billion for leasing our troops to Saudi Arabia? Well, the past couple of weeks I've been looking for that money. It's not there. Trump said we got $1 billion from Saudi Arabia. It's not there. So I have a feeling Donald Trump got $1 billion on the side for sending our troops to Saudi Arabia. That's what I think. I wouldn't take your money. You're a turncoat and a scumbag. My goodness. This man profited $4 million from threatening my life. I just muted him. He claims he made $4 million threatening my life. Can you believe that? I mean, it's hard to believe, isn't it? Bottom line is, you Trump tards who suck dick, Russian dick, should know better. When you decided to become traitors to our country and support this ridiculous obstruction of Congress by the Senate, what were you thinking? I'm not a Democratic robot. You're a Chinese sympathizer. I'm going to ban you, hey. I was a Democrat for 30 years. I left the Democratic Party. Do you think a Democrat would play all those angry, negative ads for Joe Biden? I'm not big on Joe Biden, but he's ironically the most qualified to beat Donald Trump in the upcoming election. Well, he's one of his peers. He's in his age category, for one.
What do I do?
Or two, there's this possibility that he actually has a mouth on him, which Donald Trump has, which is a perfect match. I could easily compete against Donald Trump if the Democrats were to say, hey, Dave, sorry we ignored you the past few years, but we'd like you to run for president. I could easily beat Donald Trump because I've got that same vigor that Joe Biden has. You can see it. You can see it in him. Even though he's an older guy, he still has that vigor. As much as you criticize him and call him some pervert, there's not one pedophile charge against Joe Biden. And let me remind all of you retardicans, none of the actions of Biden or Giuliani, or excuse me, none of the actions of Trump and Giuliani has actually prosecuted Biden. Not one thing has been levied against Joe Biden, not one charge. So essentially, Donald Trump's great presidency is a completely impotent, castrated model of government gone wild. And you stand there and suck his dick and expect me to respect you in the show? You're out of here. My God, what's wrong with you? Easy there, buddy. I'm not here to support a guy who's gay and Christian either. I would never get behind, well, I would never let Pete Buttigieg get behind me. Let's just put it that way. But I would never get behind Pete Buttigieg either. Slow modes, why are you printing in Russian? Is this some sort of a joke or something? Are you people Russian agents and you're finally coming clean? Yeah, I'm going to mute that. Yeah, at least I'm the one who could actually talk about you sucking dick, okay? Thank you. You're not allowed to do that. You like the way I use sarcasm? Well, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm a master of verbal combat. Oh, I did know that his butt is gay, yes. I'm not going to stand around pretending to be, politically correct like the Democrats. I'm not cut out of their same cloth. You people, you got your match with Donald Trump and me, I'll tell you that. The Democrats don't have what it takes to win the presidency in 2020. I will agree with you. Trump is the only person who's been able to mesmerize you with his mob money and his incredible, mindless discussion about how great he is. And you bought it. I don't like the Democrats because they tax too much. I would never have allowed Obama to tax you if I had a choice. I was the one that stood up against Obama. I really was. I was the one that ran a campaign in 2008 against all odds and was completely censored the media. You remember the campaign. I started in 2008. This was me.
Hi. Good morning. As you can see, I'm still wearing the shirt I wore last night and yesterday at Blog TV. It's exhilarating to do Blog TV. We've been having an incredible time. This is, in fact, day 54. I thought yesterday was day 54, but we did a recount, and we determined that today is day 54 as we approach the election. And as your potential write-in candidate, David John Sponheim, I'm here to show you my hybrid electric vehicle. It's not a plug-in hybrid. That's something I want to build at the U.S. Auto Corporation that I want you, the people, to own.
Now here I had a very simple idea. Now some people would call this socialism. A U.S. Auto Corporation, yeah, it's a good car. I have it. Looks like brand new. A U.S. Auto Corporation, yeah, we want a U.S. Auto Corporation. Our own companies, Ford and General Motors, have completely stopped producing sedans. I mean, other than the Mustang, electric Mustang that Ford is looking at, they're dropping all of their small cars. Yet somehow Trump got you convinced that we're doing great. Our manufacturing is up. You got to be kidding me. All our big corporations are closing down. You people are demented. You're delusional to think our country is doing well. He borrowed money to prop up the stock market. That's why it's growing. I wouldn't doubt he's giving money directly to companies to buy their own stocks. Yeah, that's the van that, it wasn't blown out. The rings were still set. It just had to have a drain gas tank. I had put the gas in there. It was too old, and I was mistaken to have let the gas sit too long. And a couple times wouldn't start. It basically clogged the rings with varnish. There's a treatment you can do to a gas tank that'll clean it out of that. And luckily, the people that bought that motorhome were very connected to a great mechanic. I was so blessed to have finally sold it. Yeah, we don't support Bernie here at all, so that's a kick from the room. If you want to get behind a campaign, get behind this campaign. I'm the one offering $500 a month per U.S. citizen who's currently not collecting disability or any type of a there with a $500 a month plan. There won't be anybody in the Democratic Party will offer a universal basic income. I'm the originator of the universal basic income in America. So I'm the guy that you should be voting for, not Bernie. Bernie's a complete, utter moocher. And a suck-up, too. Yeah, we saw this clip earlier. But as you can see, I've been doing this for 11 years. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, what you're going to see right now is the real president that you just installed in office for another few months until he's, removed at the end of his term. You have proof here of Donald Trump mocking our national anthem. Watch this. This is going to be shocking.
Лучше фотографию, мне кажется.
He's getting ready to sit down before it's even over. Okay, so you're looking at a president who doesn't give a crap about our national anthem. He's a total ass, I agree. Yeah, and then on top of it, and this is the irony, is you've got a Russian videotaping it at Trump's Super Bowl party. Did you hear the Russian in the background? He was speaking Russian. Yeah. So a Russian was recording our president jerking around during the anthem and acting disrespectful. And it came from a Russian cell phone. Unbelievable. I mean, if this isn't a slam in the face of this country, I don't know what is. And you retardicans, you're to blame for all of this. I support Make America... actually, what I support is a MAGA. Actually... Make America Great Again. This is my new campaign slogan. AMAGA, actually make America great again. Yeah, don't... We allow the R word here. You're retardicans. You can be called retardicans. It was probably Lev Parnas' cell phone. Yeah, he let him in there saying, Lev, that's okay. Come on in. I don't know you. I don't know anybody about you. But come on in, Lev. He's a good friend. No, because Make America Great Again is a Ronald Reagan slogan. It was actually originally developed by Andrew Jackson. He had the first Make America Great. But Ronald Reagan had it... The original images of Ronald Reagan, you can see from some of his campaign slogans. Let's make America great again. And my fellow Americans, as you probably know, this imposter and Russian implant, Donald Trump, has engaged in a way that would make our country ashamed of his incredibly greedy mentality. Now, I was a famous actor for many years in Hollywood. But I would never act like this horse's ass that Donald Trump is. When we had Ronald Reagan as our Make America Great president, he truly did make America great. But Donald Trump has turned this country into a travesty. Yeah, Dave, can I get a shout out to the Russian spies in your cast? Yeah, really. Okay. You're not lucky to have Trump in the Oval Office. You're lucky to have avoided the Russian takeover. It's happening. When you finally realize it's happening, then you'll wonder what the hell you just did. But right now, you're completely lost. None of you Republicans listened to all the truth that was being poured out. When I heard people say Adam Schiff is a liar, and I didn't hear one lie out of his mouth, I knew you people had your head up your ass. That's when I knew that we were seriously facing a problem. You see, you retardicans are the reason our country is failing right now. Because you think everything's great. You think it's great that Donald Trump just stuck $750 billion we don't have into the military-industrial complex. You think it's great that he's making more weapons of mass destruction to kill people. That's what makes you retardicans absolutely the bane of existence and the reason why our country is laughed at around the world now. While you think you're proud and you listen to Trump's rhetoric and how he pretends like we're the greatest nation in the world, we are the laughing stock of the world right now because we can't seem to recognize that Russia owns our president. You certainly can't. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. So since you came into our show, I support the MAGA movement. Actually make America great again. So you guys can get behind the MAGA movement right now. It's separating from you Trump-tards who have no idea that you haven't done diddly squat for our country. He hasn't helped the homeless problem. In fact, he was bragging last night about how he cut federal funding for food stamps, claiming he's so happy he got people off food stamps, when he just burned all these people. Like Add the One, he's one of our operators. He's disabled. He's in a wheelchair. He doesn't get food stamps anymore. Trump expects a guy in a wheelchair to work. This is what's happening. He's screwing you over. We're giving you an opportunity to make it right again. Actually make America great again, a MAGA. The oral tradition of the church always inserted into the written tradition. Even King James Version was an offshoot of a previous Bible that was written specifically for King James. Everybody has their slant on every single thing, historic record that we have. Even this day, many of you retardicans are thinking that, oh, see, there's no collusion. Never been proven. There's all kinds of collusion, and it's going to be bubbling up yet again. We're going to see it yet again. You will find out that Donald Trump purposely didn't record any of his phone calls with Vladimir Putin because he's speaking in a way that would reveal that he's working for Russia. Oh, how can I help you, Vladimir? No, don't show the sex tape. No, please don't. Whatever you want to do. Oh, you want to send our troops to Venezuela? Okay, where should we position our troops, Mr. Putin? The guy's literally taking his clues from Mr. Putin. Yeah. We shall overcome. Well, I'm not defending Pelosi or Schiff. I just didn't hear a single lie from Adam Schiff's mouth. If you listen to what he said, Donald Trump did all those negative things. And many Republicans like Lamar Alexander agreed that Donald Trump is guilty of all those things, but he's not impeachable. Which makes no sense. It means that Republicans really want a criminal as our president. That's all we can walk away from this with. You Republicans have turned your back on a credible judicial process which was outlined in the rule of law, which you brag about as our Constitution, yet you yourself won't even follow the rule of law. Not only is this a travesty of justice, but the nation really is in a tragic state, completely blown apart in two different directions by a president that refuses to even acknowledge any wrongdoing. And you think everything's just fine. Boy, have you got a lot to learn, you retardicans. You just haven't even begun to scratch the surface on that scratch and sniff thing that's sitting right in front of you. If it smells like feces, it is feces. It's time to scratch and sniff, everybody. Open the whole mindset that Donald Trump is working for Russian oligarchs. Then we can talk. Yeah, we saw the same thing 4 years ago. They've kept me or anyone like me from ever getting a word in edgewise, so it makes more sense to put together a plan to actually deal with the aftermath. And right now, America's Third Party's got the plan to deal with the aftermath. Even our book, Hybrid Capitalism, is still very relevant to the future. We're going to be dealing with some kind of overwhelming processes as we go forward. One of the things that's going to shock a lot of you people is we will be put into wars that we shouldn't be in. Donald Trump already laid the groundwork for this when he said he was going to do everything he can to overturn the Venezuelan government. And then he put Juan Guaido out there in front of everybody, standing there like some puppet planted on the stage as his special guest to the State of the Union address. Juan Guaido is standing there, complete puppet for Goldman Sachs, whose primary goal is to overthrow the Maduro government. Now, Donald Trump's policy toward Venezuela has been so horrible that one can only assume that he's taking messages from Putin. Because by supporting this person that was not duly elected by anybody, Donald Trump essentially is pushing Maduro toward Russia. Maduro is now allowing Russia to set up a missile silo in Venezuela with a hypersonic missile capability, able to reach the United States within 5 minutes. And there's talk about Cuba, new installations being installed. You see, the Russians have already got Donald Trump by the short pubic hairs, and they're pulling now. And now they're going to start putting installations in, putting all of us at mortal risk for our lives. All because you allowed a Russian sympathizer and a person who's being blackmailed by Russia, according to Robert Mueller, as our president. You didn't have the forethought to think that maybe Pence would have been better. You were so stupid as to just go ahead and stick Trump out there. Trump's already got complete Russian control. He absolutely is their puppet. So it's just a matter of time before they put our troops in harm's way in Venezuela, and Russian troops can take over, and then the people that power up this whole fiasco can have a little war. So what you voted for when you voted for Donald Trump was a greater expansion of the military-industrial complex, a bigger, bolder grab for money, digging deep into our coffers. The cost now for everybody to have Trump as president will be extreme. More people will be homeless on the street, and eventually we'll be seeing ample foreclosures, declining markets in various cities. I don't think we're growing at all. I think what we just did was we just stuck a dagger in our future. Now, let's not forget that Donald Trump gave a $5.5 trillion tax break to the rich. And you Republicans just sat around and sounded like a bunch of sheep when this happened. Let me put this in perspective. We're $5 trillion poorer over the next 10 years. Donald Trump is overspending by at least $1 trillion per year. That means in a 4-year period, we're $4 trillion plus $5 trillion. We're $10 trillion, $9 to $10 trillion in debt because of Donald Trump. Lost revenue and money out the door, wasted on military-industrial complex. I can't believe that you people think that somehow he's helping our economy. It's absurd. Are you retarded? You'd have to be retarded to vote for this guy. I don't think manscaping is required here. Yeah, Trump said he wanted to bring the boys home in his campaign before he became president. What boys? The boys in the band? The gay boys in the band? He cut people off of food stamps. 8 million people got cut from food stamps. He says he's shrinking welfare rolls. Yeah, he's putting people on the street. Get a grip, okay? I'll do the R word anytime I want. You retardicans better get used to it. It's your new name. I don't plan on calling you Republicans anymore. Not after what you just did.
I can't talk. What do I do?
Just take it easy. Take it easy, Mr. Biden. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so Trump is working the Constitution for him. Me, the people. You're right, Dave. Dave, calling Trump retarded is an insult to retarded people. I humbly apologize to all mentally retarded people for calling Republicans retardicans. They're not even that level of intelligence. They can't even come up to that level. I think in order to be technically a moron, you have to have at least an 85 IQ. Trump is on record saying that Thomas Edison created the wheel. He just said it in Davos last week. Oh, Thomas Edison did a lot of great things. He created the light bulb and he created the wheel. Yeah, this guy just said that Thomas Edison created the wheel. No, I'm sorry to say the wheel was created in 6500 BC. What does that mean? Before Congress? What BC what? I don't swing that way. AC/DC? Trump is still in office because Mitch McConnell wants to be the first Senate Majority Leader to appoint 3 justices to the Supreme Court. I would agree with that, yeah. Mitch McConnell also wants to continue doing the work of Russia. Thank you. I'm just glad we can share these scary moments together as we head toward the zombie apocalypse. Here is a whole bunch of people in and around Hong Kong buying face masks. And someone in the room said, wouldn't it be a lot better if they didn't get in line and cross-contaminate? Yes, R.I.P. to Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas. What a great actor he was. I'm sorry that the media will not be allowed to be played. It's coming from China, so we're not allowed to watch it. Brazil is sending 2 planes to evacuate citizens from virus-hit China. So Brazil's taking people to Brazil now. Hey, boy, they're really spreading the disease. And this news today, that pretty striking, China does admit that the coronavirus comes from its P4 lab. Miles Guo identified the Chinese scientist Dian Guo to be the person who created the Wuhan coronavirus. Wang Qishan, the vice president of China, ordered this attack, they're saying. Now the Chinese Communist Party is blaming the U.S. for creating the Wuhan coronavirus. Please click the link below to read the newest news, okay? I don't know, it sounds pretty weird to me. A prominent Chinese scientist is responsible for creating Wuhan coronavirus under the order of the Chinese Communist Party. The project is so secret that some of the Chinese kleptocrats don't even know about it. Guo Dian, last name Guo, is the key person responsible for creating the Wuhan coronavirus. There he is. You lose. Wow. Hey, let's clear the chat for a second. Hang on. Kirk. Hey, congratulations to the Chiefs. The smartest thing Trump ever said. Congratulating the Chiefs, yeah. Congrats to the great state of Kansas and the Kansas City Chiefs, Trump said. Now, many of you retardicans don't realize that Kansas City is actually not in Kansas, it's in Missouri. But Trump is so dumb, he thought Kansas City was in the state of Kansas. LOL. Well, China's GOC was behind it. I called it out when I first heard it. I was the one that said it. Hey, I have been right all along about everything. I was right about the Democrats impeaching Trump. You said, no, they could never impeach. I said, no, they're going to impeach him. And I was right about that. You know, there's this weird world of harvesting baby parts. You probably heard about it when Planned Parenthood was exposed.
This clip is going to be about one of the worst crimes that are being perpetrated right now all over the world, and that very few people are aware about.
Hospitals are stealing infant blood. We'll bring you this story from Austin, Texas. Thank you. That looks like a good video. Absolutely. This just in, Trump is so stupid that he's bringing 350 more potentially contaminated people from Wuhan into the United States at Travis Air Force Base. This is a travesty of justice. No, this is the Travis Air Force Base in California. 2 jetliners carrying 350 American evacuees from the epicenter of China's deadly coronavirus outbreak landed early Wednesday morning at Travis Air Force Base. The first of 2 flights aboard privately contracted Boeing 747-400s touched down at 3:59 a.m. As many as 250 people from the airlift would be quarantined there for the next 2 weeks. Now, I understand that this virus can now incubate up to 41 days without symptoms. that it's even more deadly than anyone had ever thought about it. So when they hold them for 14 days, that's really not long enough now. Now that we know it's a 41-day cycle. There's a new perspective on the Seattle shooting from Jeffersonian Girl. We'll bring that to you tonight. Possibility of a hoax. As you know, I can't play that during my recorded broadcast because YouTube is very specific about that. They don't want me playing anything that goes against the mainstream media. They consider that hate speech, which I find rather interesting. Anything that challenges the mainstream media narrative is now called hate speech. I would have quarantined them in China. The U.S. has enough military operations with people in hazmat suits to quarantine them there. Why put them on a plane and have them cross-contaminate in the plane, which is stupid in of itself because none of the planes have air filtration in any of the cargo or any of the areas where people are sitting. So, of course, sending them on a plane cross-contaminates them, and it adds the added risk that they are here and they could get away. I say leave them there. I've been right about everything. And I'm right that we're doing the wrong thing under this Trump-tard administration. No, that man is I'm a centrist. I would never support that guy, especially since he got all that money from George Soros. Yeah, there's also sending him to Miramar in MCAS in San Diego. That's right. You can't understand what risk is until you've lived my life. I live in a veritable compound. I've been self-quarantined for 11 years now. I would never, ever call my life open and free. I'll tell you that. I've been living in almost seclusion since I've been getting death threats almost constantly in our show.
All right, guys, Matty D here, Wednesday, February 5th, 2020. I'm going to be quick with this. I'm just going to read this really fast. Freemason information, okay? This is all about the Masonic symbolism of color. Now, pay attention.
Okay, we'll look at this again tonight as well. Matty D takes on an anti-elitist perspective for sure. Why are you even in the room? You're not even a person who appreciates our show. Get out of here. God. Can't believe people spend their time in our show actually thinking they're going to stay here denigrating what I do. I don't know if Speaker Pelosi said she would resign if impeachment failed. That would be something she wouldn't do. That's not the kind of thing she would do. That's a politically foolish thing to say. I doubt she said it. Nancy never said that, yeah. And Trump was impeached. That's right, slow-mos. Many of you Republicans don't understand how the operation works. The Supreme Court Justice John Roberts could have called witnesses, but he didn't show any courage whatsoever, and he caved to the Republicans and to Mitch McConnell, and didn't even step up and do anything. And that's why Elizabeth Warren accused him of being, of doing nothing, basically. Yeah, he basically did nothing at all. He could have done something, but he did nothing. And then Trump gave him some posthumous award for doing this. It's crazy, for going to the distance. What do you mean Trump did nothing? He lied about Lev Parnas. Outright lied, said he never talked to him. He lied about his tax returns, claiming he would show them no problem, clearly hiding from everyone. Yeah, you're right. That's true. And I'm very careful. That video you played with me last night, Scissor Fight, about the anti-Zionist movement, how it's being characterized as anti-Semitic. It really makes me think, because I'm concerned about a new world order, and I don't want to put a race attached to it. I'm an anti-new world order guy. I don't support a globalization of our world, whereas you Democrats, many of you do. You want our country globalized and some higher up control us and us to join the cap and trade mentality of the Democrats. I'm an anti-New World Order guy, so I don't put a label on it at this point. I'm anti-New World Order. I'm not claiming that Jewish people are behind this or anything. I've always liked Jewish people. I'm here to talk about, what it really is and how it's affecting our country. We're being hijacked. Donald Trump hasn't built the border fence. My idea, by the way. He hasn't done anything to advance that fence of 100 miles of crappy slat fence. We aren't protected right now. Yeah, exactly. So I'm really angry at the New World Order, and the people that push that are the Masons and groups of people like that. So I'm not putting an anti-Semitic stamp on this at all. And just bear in mind, that's the important thing. We're not here to call people out. Even Zionists have a place at the table, believe it or not. They're just like any group. Latter-day Saints have a place at a religious table with Mormons. They're like any other group. But to claim that they're being persecuted always, I think that's their own self-persecution problem. Yeah, and your religion does not concern me, right? No, border crossings have not dropped by 75% at all. That's a lie. He can't validate that statistic he said last night. Trump lied, said he was going to bring our military home, and hasn't. I don't forget that, yeah. Trump has kept our military over in Afghanistan. We still have about 10,000 troops because Trump is basically a New World Order puppet. Our government is in Afghanistan to profit from the... I heard that the CIA makes about $50 billion a year from the heroin trade. Now, I'm the only person who will talk about it. The Democrats won't talk about that. The FBI cannot be reporting something going on at the border. They're not capable. They're not the final word. ICE would be the ones to talk to. And ICE has not reported a 75% drop in border crossings. Not at all. There's no statistic you can show me. Give me a link. Show me some stat on the internet. I'll look at it. What do you mean? Trump just sent 3,500 troops into Iraq last week. Basically, Trump did the same thing Obama did. He sent 14,000 troops in Afghanistan. Right, there you go. Religion promotes hate. Spirituality promotes caring. I like that. That's good. It's so funny to see the retardicans just really give a great clap to Donald Trump's Space Force. Now, what amazes me is the retardicans don't know that our country developed a Space Force in 1946 under Truman, and it was a military like NASA, and they don't talk about it. But it's like, WTF, I know, It's like, you're coming up with a brand new force that has never existed. No, it's been in operation for over 70 years. There's no Space Force needed. We don't talk about it because we're too busy, watching bread and circuses to really know that NASA is a complete joke. How can you not watch this, I mean, that alone tells you what a 42-year-old woman and a 50-year-old woman look like in this day and age with modern body works and Pilates. And yeah, I mean, I could watch this for hours. But they know that. They know that all you people really want are bread and circuses to fill up your empty heads. Good luck with that. So I'm anti-New World Order. That's the best way to describe it, because I don't want to be characterized as anti-Semitic. I like Jewish people. Yeah. But the fact is, Donald Trump has done exactly what the elitists want him to do. That's why they're keeping him in office. I should make a GIF of that. Or if it already is a GIF, a GIF. Yeah, it is. Great. I'll use that in the future. I'll put that in my little collection. In any event, I think that we have a situation where our country is not really solving any of the key problems facing the country, like homelessness, job creation, housing solutions. We've got a president that lies incessantly and brags up everything he does, which is not helping anything. It's quite the of self-deceit. It's deception. We're just slowly deceiving ourselves. So when you go out in the street and see people around you that are homeless, that are starving, and you think, yeah, Trump's doing really great for the economy. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, totally. You're deceiving yourself. But you can do whatever you want. It's a free country, right? I don't know what happened here, but Tesla stock plunged $100 in seconds the other day. Yeah, that was yesterday. Wonder what Tesla's trading for right now. Let me see after the big boom in the economy. Trump hasn't done anything. He's costing us. Look at this. It's amazing. Tesla dropped from a high of $969 to a current amount of $734. On one of the up days of the year, one of the largest up days of the year, Tesla's dropping. Isn't that weird? This is a big day on Wall Street. It was a big boom day, but positive growth in most sectors, but Tesla continues to drop. Wonder why? I don't really understand the market and how it's playing out with Tesla. A hedge fund betting against Tesla lost more in January than all of 2019. Oh. And their money managers saying they have high confidence in Tesla. Maybe they're bringing price of Tesla down so that the people can buy in, and then they see a big jump. That's very likely. I'll have to tell Sarah about that. She's all about investing. They go up and down, yeah, but it seems like Tesla's being artificially dropped. You made good cash shorting Tesla yesterday? It's all hyped. Well, you owe all your money to the money you made threatening my life. So you should give all that money back to charity.
Get your fucking hands off her! Get your hands off her! Get your fucking hands off her! Oh, you can clap. I'm proud of you. Get your hands off me! Fuck you! So you're an idiot. I'm a fascist drag queen. Oh, it's cute. That's a cute idea. You're not cute. You're fat and you're pathetic. I'm fat. That's cute.
I'm not really sure why I was watching that. Exactly what does that depict? Okay. Day trading radio tip. Okay, to Super Saver. No, I'm not going to play that. That is just wrong. Yeah. Hey, 2 more nuclear silos are for sale in northern Arizona. Hey, this could be your opportunity to buy your home away from home. Please delete for Facebook for privacy purposes. How do I do that? I don't know. I'm now locked in on that. They know. They've seen my Facebook. My timeline's permanent. Two more nuclear silos available. Oh, nice. For sale in southern Arizona. Oh, okay. Well, let's see if we want to bid on those. Does anybody want to bid on a nuclear silo? Maybe
$1.
$1.
The cat wants food.
Okay, I'll give her. That's a usual thing for her. Okay, so 2 nuclear silos available in southern Arizona. There you go, Sarah.
The Titan II missile complex.
And this is my new credo. AMAGA, actually make America great again. You don't like it? Oh. Okay. Because I don't think we have made America great again. We just lied to ourselves. Believing somehow Trump is doing something other than borrowing money, which is all he really did.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll cancel that plan then. We're back to a new America. That was my original credo.
Just...
If you don't have any ideas, let's leave mine intact, okay?
Yeah. Actually make America great again. America is great. Let me think of some ideas for David. Proud to be an American. I don't like help is on the way. Future ready. Vote for a real, let's see, it's like, relatable centrist, infrastructure, winning, third party, let's see, you guys can help me with some more ideas. Everyone is winning. All you do is win, win, win. No, thank you. I like my teeth the way they are. Average American. Expose the truth. That would be David's. ETT, expose the truth. Seek truth. Honesty. Yeah, time for an honest government. Maybe that would be good. Yeah, you were probably right that China is desperate. Okay, what about honest? You say it's rare that truth gets exposed. The truth is often subjective, especially in politics. Good. Good point. Well stated. Seeking justice. Fairness. Well, at least from someone's point of view, an honest history will eventually come out. I'd say a caring community, caring country, caring for our country. America. Prosperity. Purpose. Visionary. Daring, authentic, visionary. Integrity. David. I usually do acronyms for David. I just need another D. Daredevil. Oh, daring. I do like daring. You enjoyed the State of the Union? What did you like most about it, Froggy? Okay, I've got a good acronym for David. I should put that on the screen. Since David's putting all this other text on the screen. Here, I'll leave that there. Better than that AMAGA thing he had. I didn't like that. There was just too much like Trump, so. And I don't like Trump's thing. Even if David came up with it first, I mean, Trump's just totally ruined it, so. That's pretty funny, Groucho Marx. State of the Union ratings were down 21%. In Trump's world, that's an increase of 42%. That's hilarious. I'll leave that and see how long it takes David to look at those words on the screen. I'll say it'll take him a day. He won't even notice that I wrote that on the screen till tomorrow. CNN hosts a final town hall before the New Hampshire primary, which happens on February 11th. The town halls will start on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. What was that, today? Oh, anyway. Two is kind of a special number. And 4. 2 plus 2 is the same as 2 times 2 is the same as 2 to the second power, or 2 squared. Oh. To hear President Trump tell it in his State of the Union speech, he rescued a declining, hollowed-out economy from ruin to create the greatest era of prosperity in U.S. history. He's presided over a solid economy since taking office in 2017, but mischaracterized the state of the economy under Obama and overstated his own accomplishments. In truth, the economy has mounted a steady recovery since the Great Recession of 2007-09, marking the longest expansion in American history. You have seen a continuation of the trend, said Elise Gould, senior economist at the left-leaning Economic Policy Institute. The years of economic decay are over. In just 3 short years, we've shattered the mentality of American decline. That's what he said. Average of 2.2% a year during Obama's tenure. That is a little bit less than the 2.5% average under Trump, but Trump spearheaded a $1.5 trillion tax cut and spending increases to achieve that pace by juicing growth to near 3%. Trump claimed performance. This is not the case. The economy grew well over 3% in the mid-2000s and well over 4% from 97 to 2000. That was easy now. Jobs. He says since his election they've created 7 million new jobs. He's counting jobs created have been added since his term began. Actually, the Labor Department's preliminarily a revision has tentatively lowered that figure to 6.2 million. The average unemployment rate is lower than any administration in the history of our country. I want to. The U.S. lost a net. The latest census data shows the U.S. also lost 607 factories in 2017. That was Trump's. Okay, Canadian. I'm glad for you. Yeah, Trump got acquitted. That's about all we said about that. There is a lot of now hiring signs, I agree. ICE is now fingerprinting immigrants as young as 14 years old. Well, there's all the Republicans in the Senate. So I guess the Iowa caucuses used some app that had only been, the company had only been, was formed months ago. Wow.
Yeah, the best way I can describe those are brownie cupcakes.
Yeah.
I made 22 of them, so if you want to try a little one,
Oh,
you
awesome.
certainly
Thank
can.
you.
All right. Yeah, I think this is just a wind down day for people who are just trying to come up with. Oh, there you go, David. Daring, authentic, visionary, integrity, dynamic. I like it. That's a good one. Thanks for coming up with that. That's yeah.
I can't think of one for the country that hasn't already been taken.
I like just a new America, but that's just me.
I know, but I like America. I don't want it like a new America sounds.
I know.
I know.
It sounds
whatever.
kind of like, well, I just want to keep America perfect. Keep America perfect. Let's see.
Well, that's why it's like honest America. I don't know. Anyway.
Let me do this first. Yeah, so Trump is more hated than Obama. I know, it's true. See that? That's available right there. This one.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay, so thank you very much, Sarah, and have a great evening. Get some rest. Treat yourself to a nice hot shower or something, you know. Just enjoy the evening. Thank you for coming in. All right. Wow. Yeah. Well, the fact is, Scissor Fight, Trump doesn't care about the homeless. None of the Republicans care about the homeless people. Yeah, that's the thing. We presuppose that Republicans care about homelessness. They don't. they just say, oh, let them starve. Screw them. They deserve it. Yeah, they didn't work hard for a living like they did. You know, they don't even see those people as Americans. I think Republicans are more racist than, it's almost like they're speciesist. They believe that their group is a better species than the rest of us. It's worse than racism. Yeah, this abandoned farmhouse has sat empty for 20 years. Wow, great opportunity for a squatting situation where you can squat your
now,
way
what I'm
to
going to show you is probably going to be disturbing. We actually found occupants of the house.
Yeah.
And Mike found them, so just brace yourself.
Okay.
I'm going to slowly pan over. Hey guys, back with another abandoned adventure today, joined by the Google King, Mike from Good Day for Decay.
Hey, Mike.
And we got one of his Google finds.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of my favorite places to film an abandoned home. Let me spin you around here and show you what we have.
Wow.
Here it is.
That's like anybody could have grown up in that in the 1930s, you know? That would have been, yeah, mom and dad left the farm to the kids, but the kids didn't want it. Yeah, so we'll take a look at this 32-minute investigation into a past of that none of us would never have seen if we hadn't seen the cruddy things on the ground. We begin to cherish the things we throw away. You know, a house like that has pretty good bones. You can see its studs are still pretty strong. It could be fixed up. Yeah, but so many things in our world are just left to rot. And we have such a disposable society that, yeah, get rid of that house, move on, who cares? Yet we have 5 million people homeless, yet all these abandoned homes. Seems like the perfect opportunity to fix that problem. Yeah, a job plan, a way to get people back to work, fixing up old, worn down houses, not that old, but yeah, houses that could just use a facelift, and Americans could have jobs as a result of that. That's what I'd like to see. But you guys who want to believe that Trump's doing something, even though he's not really doing anything, can go ahead and say what a great guy is and how great the economy is, and you can live in la-la land for a while. Because I think you might be in the last stages of America's grace being ripped apart by borrowers and lenders and profit takers like Trump. The last days of America are being sold off at a flea market price. Yeah, Bob Villa, this old house. It won't be lifestyles of the rich and famous. It'll be more like lifestyles of the broke and homeless. I'm Robin Leachnot. Here with lifestyles of the broke and homeless. You can live in a house that's in disrepair. Actually, we'd like to have a better view. Like, look at how nice the chiffon drapes are, and they're from 1927. So, come on. Somebody took a nice enough care to buy some quality garments for their walls. Okay. How's you going to pay? Where are you going to go when you get what you got? I'll put it in tonight's lineup. Thank you, Scissor Fight. So I'll have you know, last night's show was so bad, I made a private show out of it, so you can't see last night's show. It was so horrible that I've decided to put it to rest. It'll be in the archives, but I'm not going to post last night's show because last night was the mark against a great nation, a mark against our country, when we're no longer willing to look at witnesses to determine the truth, that we prejudge things and even find that it's okay to be a criminal and be a president. Let it happen. We love you, Donald. Oh, yes, we do. The Democrats' economic style has borrowed and taxed you, and I agree. It has gotten us nothing. I totally agree with you, Ben Franklin. But the trickle-down economic model never helped either. The GOP went with the Reagan-style trickle-down economic tax cut, which it ends up giving you nothing. The whole idea of the Reagan trickle-down economy was profit sharing. You don't hear Republicans talk about profit sharing, do you? The House prevented witnesses and evidence? No, not at all, Ben. The House did an inquiry, and they found him guilty and decided to impeach him. It was up to the trial for you guys to defend him, and since you couldn't defend him with any witnesses, you Republicans decided to call it a day and commit obstruction of justice. Yeah, don't trickle down my leg and tell me it's raining when it's really diarrhea. Why not just make a basic right of having a roof over your head? Well, I'd like to impose rights and impose some sort of restrictions, but I don't like to impose restrictions or tell people what their rights are. I believe in opportunity and the choice of people to make their own decisions. I'd like to put a nice house and a bed and a cot right in front of people and say, hey, do you want to live here? You have to abide by the law. You can't bring drugs into this location. I understand that's what's really hanging up a lot of programs in LA and San Francisco, because the Democrats can't come to an agreement as to what basic human rights are with these restrictions. If people want to live in group community housing happen organically, you'll see people living in slums, warlords like Trump and his family. You'll see abuse, human exploitation. And we need to set up a system that isn't cheatable like that. So having people have their own homes, or getting kitchenettes with bathrooms and refrigerators and everything you need, including a TV, that would be my goal. Buying up existing motels that are maybe in disrepair and turning them into government hotel setups, U.S. government owned and operated, so that when we give vouchers to homeless people to live in one of these kitchenettes, they're like a motel room with a little kitchenette attached. Then we would be able to have something, we get a return on investment. Whereas right now, the slumlords like Trump and all the other people are profiting from our Section 8 housing. I could never be impeached for doing a blackface video. It's protected by free speech. Whereas doing a side deal with Ukraine to gain favor over your opponent and using U.S. tax dollars, that's illegal. Doing a blackface video is not illegal. Nor is it unethical, really, when you look at freedom of speech as being paramount. And how was I going to impersonate Barack Obama, the New World Order, a homosexual Muslim president, unless I did it in blackface? And that's true. Slow-Mo's made a point that if Bill Barr had done his job and appointed an independent counsel like Ken Starr or Archibald Cox in the case of Nixon, the House would not have been forced to investigate in a committee. But they did an inquiry, and Trump didn't get a chance to rebut because that wasn't part of the inquiry. If you're being investigated for murder, you don't get to call up the investigating officer and ask him, gee, how are you? How's the case going? Can I pick your brain a little bit? And by the way, I'm a nice guy. I mean, that's what Trump wanted to do. And that's what Trump did with Devin Nunes at his side, giving him valuable information from the House side. All of that was corrupted by Devin Nunes. I think Devin Nunes should face ethics charges, but that's between the House and the House. So that's not part of my problem. My problem is that both parties are collecting money from super PACs that are connected to foreign governments. That's my problem. And this entire thing has been held in abeyance, and the entire impeachment process has been held in I guess it was kind of a joke. When you look at the whole thing in its aftermath, it was held up because they didn't get a chance to actually investigate every aspect. Mueller did a piss poor job. He dropped the second trial on Paul Manafort, which would have revealed the direct connection between the Russian oligarchs and Paul Manafort's connection to Donald Trump. That's completely missing. The 7% of the 448-page file was never unredacted for the public to look at. That's missing. Heck, we haven't even had the JFK file revealed that Donald Trump held in abeyance over 2 years ago. We still haven't seen that. So we've seen a covetous government controlled by powerful elitists. And they're doing everything they can to protect their secrets. So you're looking at yesterday was a massive cover-up. Huge, big cover-up. And in my opinion, it was obstruction of justice by those senators, and they will be held in contempt someday. As we look back on how Russia is slowly grabbing us in its tendrils, sucking deep into the pockets of people like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell, and controlling Donald Trump's spending power. That's what they do. They own his note at Deutsche Bank. So when Donald Trump wants to do something financially, he actually has to go through a Russian oligarch to do it. Hey, that hippie bus repair is still going on, huh? My VW? Yeah, that's a pretty good video. He's doing a pretty good job.
Hey guys, and how's it going? Today we have this Dave's Hippie Bus He's
There it
come
is,
in
Dave's VW.
and, needs some love.
Now that was a couple of years earlier than mine. I had a 71, but yeah, that's like a 68. Nice, good job. That'll be fun tonight. Fixing up a hippie van, Dave's hippie van. Very cool. So China is frustrated that they don't have the facial recognition that they had before. So as people drop like flies from this disease, there won't be any need for facial recognition. Yeah, the less people they have in their country, the less faces they'll have to recognize. So maybe that was the intent when the government of China decided to allow a bioweapon to exist. People are wondering why.
I remember when I went to his...
People are wondering why. And it's this man. Apparently, he was working on a bioweapon, and he created this coronavirus. Guo Dian, last name Guo, is the key person responsible for creating the Wuhan coronavirus. Chairman of Microbiology Department of University of Hong Kong, Wang Guangdong, is a non-exaggeration to estimate that 1.4 million people are infected in Hong Kong. Wow. Okay, this just came in. According to Department of Microbiology Professor Wang Guoyong, 1.4 million people could be infected right now in Hong Kong from people that have come over in the past month and a half from Wuhan. You never thought you'd learn this much about Chinese. You thought life was just going to the Chinese restaurant, right? No, you're going to learn more than which type of General Chow's chicken you're going to be eating tonight. Wait till you find out the truth about how they created this bioweapon to destroy the population. Yeah, I can't wait till we piece this together with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and see what this guy was doing with them. Yeah, because that's what China is purporting. That, yes, they're purporting that this man was indeed working for the government of the U.S., so we'll have to figure that out. Get to the bottom of it later. We don't know now. Golly. Okay, the company that botched the Iowa caucus results, they worked for Clinton and Obama at one point. No, that's the wrong one. Oh, the company that did the botch job was formed only a couple of months ago.
Here and how this app failed. Iowa, which is, of course, a university town where I think was where we were speaking to each other from last night, Cal. You have more about exactly what unfolded here and how this app failed?
Yeah, well, listen, we've heard from the company Shadow, and what they've said was it was actually the transmission of that data that was the hiccup. That was the issue for them, not the inputting of the data. I suppose it doesn't really matter if the data...
Okay, this guy's having a hard time getting his word out. Let's help him. Pray for him.
It's not going anywhere.
He's got that disease that stops him from, it's called download disease. That woman looked like she'd been raw dogged. What does that mean, raw dogged? Is that some sort of a misogynist statement you came up with, Howie? AppMaker uses
gives you some more detail on what happened. The other thing worth noting, and just picking up...
So the AppMaker used the same Fivers coders as Obama for his Medicare site. LOL. It's called Your Internet Sucks. I agree. Yeah, remember Obamacare, the website, Obamacare.com? Yeah, $2 billion, and they still can't get it right. Yeah, they're using the same people to do their tech work. These people are elevated to the highest level of their own incompetence. The Peter Principle.
What Pete was talking about. The phone's not working is really confusing people here. And I think the country today is sort of talking about should Iowa go first and should we still caucus. You were anchoring last night when we sort of watched this unbelievably tedious, difficult, complicated process.
Yep. time for download problems. Where's this coming out of? Trying to figure out the feed. Oh, MSN. You know, if MSN.com and NBC.com could possibly get together with YouTube and work out their download sequence and just use space on YouTube, for crying out loud. MSN.com. Well, Tom Roja. I mean, it's like, have another couple drinks, guys. Meanwhile, you can't get your news act together. Jeez. I'll wait for that forever. Kirk Douglas dead at 103. One of his best Hollywood moments will be profiled tonight. Kirk. Entertainment Tonight. That'll be fun. I love the fact that Kirk was an enduring player in all these years. And I guess his grandson was in jail for a long time, and, you know, Cameron Douglas, and he's been kind of a problem over the years for the family. I don't know if that was, you know, something he did or didn't do, but I know the family has been dealing with that stressor for years. But, you know, the fact that Kirk made it to 103, there's Cameron and his dad, Michael. Cameron's been in jail, you know, for possession charges, dealing apparently meth or something. But yeah, he looks a lot like his grandfather, I'll tell you. I'll play that a little bit later. Cameron Douglas, right. Kirk Douglas, one of the greatest actors. Okay, yep, we're done with that. Good. So I guess we'll just do a few live leak repeats tonight at 10 o'clock, because everyone missed a lot of those people dying in Wuhan. And, of course, this story from last night, the raw story, was Israel is not happy with Trump's peace plan. Yeah, it's weird. Trump seems to be pulling the plug on a lot of his Israeli friends over there who wanted much more of the West Bank apportioned for development in their peace plan. And when they got it, they were quite shocked that Kushner couldn't articulate their plan. Does he sharpen those teeth, you think? You think he, like, takes a file and sharpens them? I wonder if he ever opened up that line of communication with the Kremlin like he wanted to. He's such a kind of a seemingly nondescript person. Have you ever heard him talk? He doesn't sound very, very interesting. Oh my God. I look a lot like him. Jared Kushner is definitely a person who needs a direct communication with the Kremlin. So, and he gets all our intel reports directly from the military, so he can pass that on to Vladimir Putin when he's privately talking to him. He's taking heat from the key allies, Netanyahu for one, as the peace plan he helped design spirals further down the drain. While the plan had been previously praised by the Israeli leaders and government, it's now being panned by neighboring Arab governments. They're trying to discourage Netanyahu from immediately annexing large portions of the West Bank from the Palestinians, which is their right, considering it was their territory after the Yom Kippur War anyway. Am I right? Yeah, I said I was right. Well, I wouldn't expect anything but, you know, that type of thing from the Iranian leader, considering how Trump has killed off their supreme military general, Soleimani. So Trump has about 75 kills to his record so far. Baghdadi, Soleimani, those are the bad guys he killed. But of those 75 kills Donald Trump has made, 64 of them were innocents. So he's only really technically gotten rid of 9 top brass terrorists. The rest were all innocents in Crossfire, UAV. One in Kabul. Actually, if you include a plane accident, even more than that. But one incident, 30 people died in Kabul, and then another one in Yemen. 31 people, including an 8-year-old little girl, were taken out when Donald Trump became president 8 days into his presidency. And he was warned not to do it. They said that military advisors with Barack Obama had said, don't do this. It doesn't look legit. It doesn't look like a guarantee that these were terrorists. He went ahead and did it anyway just to look like a tough guy. I'm one of the greatest presidents that ever lived. I'm going to go take out 31 innocent people with my UAV. Oh, look at me. I'm so proud. I'm so famous. I'm so together. I'm so wonderful. You retardicans really played into his ego last night. You really did. You gave him license now to be even weirder than he is already on Twitter. Oh yeah, wait till the tweets start coming out now. Oh, it's going to get weird. He'll start taking liberties with you Republicans and start pushing red flag laws on you. So you'll have to get rid of your weapons in states like Virginia. You ever heard the expression, no good deed goes unpunished? Well, your good deed of keeping Donald Trump in power has certainly got punishment attached to it. But I have some very special things for you. Encouragements. It's a special treat for all of you who like Mr. Rogers and have seen the new Tom Hanks movie. If you like Mr. Rogers, just say yes. Or say yes like this.
Of course.
I haven't seen the new Tom Hanks movie myself, but hey, I can't wait till I see the new Kirk Douglas movie where he's made it into a CGI character. Because they're gonna get really good soon about making old movie stars come back to life. That's the next wave in the fake entertainment industry. You'll have James Dean getting it on in some porno pretty soon, and you won't even know the difference. Yeah, posthumously more famous. The future of CGI is very real. Okay, we're good with that one too. So Tesla might be a good hook stock to get into, being they just dropped aggressively low. If you guys want to spend $750 on a stock, whatever. We covered the story about Susan Collins, who pretty much now it realizes that she
alleges the president, quote, will remain a threat to national security and the Constitution if allowed to remain in office. Are you confident that the president won't seek foreign assistance again?
I believe that the president has learned from this case.
What do you believe the president has learned?
The president has been impeached. That's a pretty big lesson. I'm voting to acquit because I do not believe that the behavior alleged reaches the high bar in the Constitution for overturning an election and removing a duly elected president.
Oh, cheating in the election isn't a high bar enough? And this woman now really admits that Trump doesn't want to change his ways at all. She was just hoping in a positive way that he was going to change his ways. No, Trump has not admitted wrongdoing, lady. Your vote was wasted.
The president says he did nothing wrong. Why do you think he learned something?
He was impeached, and there has been criticism by both Republican and Democratic senators of his call. I believe that he will be much more cautious in the future.
Yeah, and that turned out to be an erroneous belief that she's now recanting in the press. Unbelievable. Okay, since we gathered tonight, 20 more people have died in Wuhan. Meanwhile, 45,000 people have died of heart disease and lung cancer. But these 45 people that died recently, yeah, we have to make a big deal about that because it's basically a contagious disease. But let's not talk about all the thousands of people that have just died from heart disease and lung cancer. Well, they will be impeaching him as many more times as they want. I'm encouraging the Democrats to come up with 2 new articles of impeachment. One would be simply working for Russia. But no, seriously, I think one article of impeachment could be cheating in the election. That would be one good one. These are all the ways Trump has helped Russia. This is my war room. But yeah, the very fact that he hasn't recorded any conversations, even though he's been under investigation for 3 years with Putin, really tells it all. And you Republicans just don't even care that he doesn't record a single thing any conversation he has. You don't want to hear it. We trust our president to make the right decision for us, and we trust in the Bible. And then no IRS tax returns, even though he said, "I'll gladly show you 10 years of my tax returns, no problem." Meanwhile, the list goes on, and the price of oil increases. And his deal with Iran and Russia, making money off Iran, is still going forward. Everything is working just the way that Putin planned it. It is very good. So it won't take a lot for you to realize that this is going to, be a nonstop Russian takeover of our country. And you can sit back and watch now that you basically allowed it to occur, you Republicans. The nice thing about this vote that came down yesterday, and I listened to it for the full hour of rolling off of names. Yes, no, guilty, not guilty. I listened to it for an hour on NPR. The net result of your experience will be, oh yeah, you'll know that you are the reason why our country collapsed in 2020. You're the reason. So every retardican in here who can listen to all the things I'm saying and hate what I'm saying will remember that you're the reason our country is going downhill. It's no longer Obama's fault. It's now your fault. All right. Now that we worked that out. A few more recent, I think we're still up to about 64 people in the country right now. I haven't had any new statistics about how many people have come into the U.S. with the coronavirus. 64 was the last count. But, we'll see. We'll see if this number is even real. Somebody's saying that there's a statistic that there's 30,000 dead, whereas this thing says 563 dead. Somebody's saying 30,000. There's an erroneous thing on the internet that's pushing a fake story of the number of people dead. To the best of our knowledge, it's still relatively contained. Yeah, the best is yet to come. No good deed goes unpunished, and your president you've done a really good deed by keeping him in. It will definitely be punished. No. Everything about him was like a bad high school drama last night. It was bad theater. It was horrible. It was fake. Everything about that press conference, the whole State of the Union message was completely fake. Right down to the behind door number 1, the family meets their long-lost father from the war. And him pandering to the African-American vote was just right in our face. He hires these people, Trump does, and pays them $500 just to attend these places, where these rallies. They're black people that like money, That was the worst State of the Union message I've ever seen. It was uninspired and reminds me of like a WWE wrestling event where who's going to wins. It's almost pathetic. Donald Trump takes his entire shtick out of the WWE wrestling days, and all of his people supporting him at most of his campaign rallies are WWE of supporters. They like WWE, I like Donald Trump too. I like wrestling, I like America, and I like Donald Trump. You snap out of it. This guy's working for Russia. You don't even know it. You're still completely oblivious to it. I'm just glad I have knowledge enough to realize what's going on. I'm not off the rails at all. I know what's going on. You guys are lost. You were the ones that said, oh, it's all fake news, when I was listening to every little detail of what this evil bastard has done to our country. When I'm listening to all the details and put it all together and say, yeah, he's guilty, just like Mitt Romney did, thank goodness. If Mitt Romney ran against Donald Trump right now, I would vote Republican just to vote for Mitt Romney. I would.
Into these equations, people here are upset. I mean, this took a lot of effort. There was thousands of volunteers. People spent, 4 hours on Monday night. So actually, people of Iowa are wondering whether or not Iowa should keep being first, Casey.
Okay.
I mean, it's just such it's so stunning for, I think for many of us too, who have covered this process for many years, it has Iowa has such a place kind of in the canon. Cal, what do we know about what happens next? We know we're going to get partial results at 5 p.m., but it doesn't sound like they're even going to have the entire slate of results ready.
No, and there's like a Yogi Berra saying about how it's mostly useless, the 50% results. I mean, the campaigns cannot do a whole lot with that information. And what you sort of pointed out last night, what we pointed out all day, is, of course, everybody's taking a victory lap, taking advantage of that, trying to keep the campaigns rolling. I also don't know what happens if they haven't sorted out the data by 5 p.m. There's no way, really, frankly, to do a recount. You have these presidential preference cards where you fill out both sides, but I know that was an issue in the precinct that we were in. There was more cards than there were people in the rooms. In the other precinct that we were in, precinct number 3, there were problems because people left in the middle of the process. The rules had changed from 4 years ago. So I think the Democratic Party here in Iowa is dealing with a number of different factors, the least of which is that the data may not have made it to them. I think they're sort of considering how do they get these numbers out, and if they need to do a recount, is that even possible? And I know that everybody's freaking out now that I'm using the word recount, but we're there. I mean, we're here in Iowa, and we still don't have results, and it's, coming up on 3 p.m. local the day after the caucus, Casey.
Okay, we're definitely having a problem here, and yeah, she's
Indeed it is. Cal Perry, great reporting through last night and into today. It's always great to have you, my friend. We have Cal Perry.
They're friends. Wow. I guess that's kind of cool. They must be personal friends too. Her mouth looks like she ate a frog. Yeah. She had that look. It's baffling that so many people buy into the notion that anything humans do can possibly be non-natural. Well, you haven't met the transhumans who want their chips installed in their heads yet. Yeah. Once you see the augmented humans, you'll know that they're non-natural. Have you met a person with Android capabilities before? Have any of you met an Android? Press 1 if you've met an Android. See, no one's met an Android. You humans are such babes in the woods. You haven't met androids yet. Wait till 2035 rolls around. You'll be encountering androids everywhere in the street. Hello, my name is Dave. I am not an android. Yeah. Well, the thing is, you voted for a president who wants war. You'll get war. I'm a guy who wants to fight war, not wars. I don't believe we should be out there starting wars with countries, like Iran. I think we're pushing the envelope on that. If they have a nuclear weapon, which they do have, the cat's out of the bag. We need to work toward a dialogue now. But Trump doesn't want to move toward a dialogue. You retardicans are okay with him not even talking to Iran and just bomb the crap out of them. Take them out, all 52 targets. But yeah, that's just one way to have your family die in an upcoming war. So your ego puts you ahead of the curve. You're going to basically hand your family members off to some draft dodger like Donald Trump to start a war in Venezuela or Iran. Ha! Sorry. I normally don't gag when I laugh, but that was pretty close to a gag laugh. Hey, I'm Dave. Daring, authentic, visionary, integrity with dynamic. Right. I like that. That was a good slogan. She was very sweet to do that. That makes me feel good. It's a kind of a feel-good kind of thing like you get with Mr. Rogers. See, when I met Sarah, she was a big fan of Mr. Rogers. And I still believe that Mr. Rogers has guided a lot of people to the right place. Whereas there are other people in the world who are sinful evildoers, who've been engaged in sex acts with evil people. And none other than the one person that many of you have asked requests for, one very Larry Sinclair.
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
Well, did you gargle after performing fellatio? I mean, he ingested him? Did he gargle? You got to wonder, you know, what a weird person to come out of the woodwork and claim he had oral sex with the president, and then Barack Obama, well, make no mistake about it, he never said anything. He never even sued the guy for defamation. He liked the microphone, yeah. FBI divers recover human bones in waters off of Epstein's orgy island as a deep state meltdown accelerates. Really? Günther. Das ist gut, Günther. Ja, du bist ein Experte. Ja. The Impious Digest. The MSM is now the greatest hate group in the world. That's kind of cool. Is this for real? That's not funny at all. Money Grip or Howie, you're obsessed with a homosexual man who performed oral sex on Barack Obama. What does that tell you about yourself? Larry Sinclair never claimed to have sucked off everybody. He just said that he sucked off Barack Obama. He never said he sucked up. You're making that up, Slow Modes. I'm ashamed. You don't have any proof of that. Okay, if this story is real, this is the best thing that happened since the coronavirus antidote, which hasn't happened yet. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, let's take a look at this right now, okay? Okay. Oh, this is Sourceify. Okay, yeah. Everyone knows Sourceify comes up with things out of their butt. It's a CIA plant group that delivers fake news. Oh, no. I can't even read this. No, I would like to see skip loaders and cadaver dogs go out to the Epstein Island just to verify that he's not there right now. For all we know, Jeffrey Epstein's molesting a child girl right now on the island. We don't know. He got away with it. We do know from looking at his picture that he definitely didn't die. So the real story isn't not that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself or even that he was killed. The real story is that Epstein is alive today. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you the Jeffrey Epstein picture taken 20 days after he died. Dun 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 dun. Standing there with his maintenance man, looking at the drone. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, look at that guy, looking right up at the drone. And this is 20 days after he allegedly died. Go figure. Yes, he didn't die because look at the nose of the person that died doesn't match his. Some bag person. I'm getting Raul. The name Raul is coming to me. Anyway, so there you have it. We haven't really come to the conclusion that we need to because the government isn't willing to do the definite, detailed investigation work they need to to verify that Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Yeah, and our Attorney General, William Barr, who's obviously working for the deep state, he won't even investigate it. He recused himself. Isn't that amazing? The dancing emo? Which dancing emo do you want? I mean, I've got so many great ones. Yeah. Yes, Elvis Presley is still alive. Here's a great dancing emo from Sarah when we went on our Disney trip about 2 years ago. I want to take another trip with her. Yeah, go to Disneyland again. I can't wait. That was a fun trip. Sarah, Sarah, yeah. Yeah, Elvis Presley's alive. He does a little singing event. The guy who does the singing event, who does Elvis Presley, he claims he's not Elvis Presley, and he doesn't want to make any special thing about the fact that he is a perfect sound match for Elvis Presley. But he's a pastor. He's in his 80s now. But he does a really good Elvis Presley. I was impressed. Yeah, well, what can I can't tell you with emphasis, with 100% certainty, but I can tell you that he wears a $50,000 bracelet. Not many people who are caretakers at a local Graceland, the historic Graceland, this guy is the caretaker there. He lives underground. And he wears a $50,000 bracelet, and he sings like this.
This is what will break. This is for you. I want to hear my dad sing one more song. Won't you cry?
Now you see that move that he is doing there with his hand? That was the Elvis signature when he used to do this with his ear, right there. That was what Elvis used to do. That was his signature move. And this guy sounds just like him. And he's like 84 years old now. Now I've analyzed his voice, and it is actually identical to the voice of the King. But no, Elvis is alive, and it makes me feel better that he didn't die. You know, in my world, Michael Jackson isn't even dead. I don't even see him as actually dead because he's been seen publicly since he died. And I know that sounds a little odd, but they have seen him in places. And then you ask, well, why would Elvis fake his death? Because Elvis had a lot of connections to the mob, and the colonel was after him. There was some weird things going on in his life, and he just had to simplify his life. And then there's those accusations that Elvis was into young girls, like under 18. I don't know if that ever played out, but it may have played out. But then there's the talk that maybe Michael Jackson met Lisa Marie and married her, you know, and found out all about Elvis and said, I think I want to do that too. I want to do it too. And then with his high voice, he decided to, you know, fake his death too, especially to get out from under pedophile charges that Michael Jackson was facing. So yeah, there's a lot of truth to that as well. I don't know if we can verify it, but I'm willing to go out on a limb to claim that both of those people are alive. I don't mind. Well, I also don't believe we landed on the moon either. But, you know, that just makes me, I guess, a conspiracy buff if you ask me. I can tell you that we had very little fuel coming back. When you look at the rocket upon re-entry, there was no fuel on board. So how did we go 238 million miles out there? Or 238,000 miles to the moon and then come back and nothing. We never went back. 50 years later. All right, so tonight was a big, huge experience, just processing the reality. that the Senate has now committed obstruction and will be held accountable someday, in my eyes. When 36 felonies were committed by Trump people, and Trump is engaged in felonious acts himself, like committing adultery and not even admitting it to his own wife, and covering it up with $450,000 in money, payoff money, hush money, when he obstructed Congress, denying access to Donald McGahn couldn't testify. That was an essential piece of testimony about him committing obstruction of justice, claiming that he was going to fire Mueller 5 times, and stormed around the White House claiming Trump was going to fire Mueller. And then the abuse of power charge, which Mitt Romney signed off on and believed that Trump is guilty of, it's very real. So we've got a president that is abusing power, and now he has a license to do it, having gotten through his first impeachment. His next impeachment will be coming as soon as the Democrats put together a couple more articles of impeachment, and they have more than enough evidence to do that. Meanwhile, this fiasco of a country which is at odds with each other constantly continues to move forward like osmosis. Elvis Presley would have been 85. That's right. Correct. 85 years old. Elvis could still sing, man. He had it. This guy sings just like Elvis. It's amazing. And then the fact that you've got no solutions like this plan coming out of the Republicans. They won't give you a universal basic income. So basically, you retardicans don't want free money from the government. I get that. I clearly see that. So we're going to take that off the table for you retardicans. And the ultimate fact is that without a real trial process going forward and having essentially gotten rid of the whole trial process, Mitch McConnell did what any Russian supporter would do: extinguish this entire theory that Russia's involved in our election process, let alone controls the president. So Mitch McConnell did what the Russian backers that give him money told him to do, and he's extinguished this. They also are stacking the U.S. federal courts, and Trump bragged about this, 187 new federal appointments. These people are sympathetic to Russia as well. Yes. So we'll follow Jailhouse Rock. Okay, thank you. I will play that. So essentially the entire government, minus the House of Democrats, is working for Russia. That's my take, whether you like it or not. That's what I believe is happening. Thank you. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4, go man go. A hard-headed woman, soft-hearted man, been the cause of trouble ever since the world began. Oh yeah, yeah, ever since the world began. Thank you very much. Well, we'll be doing a lot of analysis as this plays out. The good thing is we know what's going on. The people that come in our show are aware. We're not freaking out about the virus. Thanks to the work of people like Scissor Fight to expose us to the other side of the story. We'll be featuring a Wuhan video tonight, 53 minutes long, to kick off, of how calm it is in Wuhan, how peaceful it is right now. Yeah. So if they did all get evacuated, and if those people are, getting to a safe place, that'll be great. If not, yeah, it may not come down. If these people that Trump has brought into the country have the virus and are contaminating us right now, then God help us all. I'm going to try to stay away from March Air Force Base and try to stay away from the San Diego area. There's going to be a lot of people Trump's bringing into the country from Wuhan. Yeah, Eric, I was surprised that the RIP, yeah. Kirk Douglas lived a long time. Pretty cool guy. Yeah, Kirk. Well, I'm planning on living to be at least 200, but I'm setting my sights on 200. But I'll tell you, if I look like Kirk did at 103, I'd probably say, hey, take me, Lord. I've done my business. And it wasn't some pile of crap somewhere. So, the Russian brides that Donald Trump is working for, they're all set, ready to go. They're up for hire if you want a date. I don't think you can find them on Plenty of Fish, but yeah, there's got to be some sort of other site like Plenty of Finks or something. No, 200 years. I plan on living to be as old as, well, Michael Douglas. I'm glad he made it to 103, but blood transfusions will finally kick in at that time. We'll all be able to get our own blood cleaned. But I mean, if you look that old at 103, I mean, would you want to be alive? Sorry, I hate to say it, but he looked pretty good for his age. Yeah. I don't know. He looked pretty good for his age. That's all I can say. No, not. If you maintain dermal abrasion schedules, go through the ritual of age reduction therapy and age reversal therapy, you could probably live a longer life. I mean, look at Joe Biden. You'd never guess he was that creepy guy in Deliverance, you know? All grown up. He looks pretty good for his age, I think. What a hell of a banjo player, too, boy. He could really stroke that stroke. Stroke that stroke. No, but I think when I reach my 80s or 90s, I'm going to go solo and develop a new lifestyle, kind of like this transgender did. Yeah. Getting that camp mobile that has everything you need, a nice little toilet area, refrigerator. This is how to live sustainably, and then bike your way everywhere from campground to campground with a kitty cat. That'll be the future when I get to be 90 or 95. I plan on going into different phases as I get older. Yeah, the initial stage of doing daily dance routines on the show, that time came and went already. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. You notice I don't do a lot of dancing anymore. I'm trying to smooth into my low impact lifestyle. Here I was with Sarah on Christmas in my comfy coat that I have for winter wear. And as you can see, I'm weathering the storms pretty well here in Washington. Okay. Kirk Douglas's real name was Ishur Danilyevich Dembski. He was a Russian Jew. Yes. Many people don't know that about Mr. Kirk Douglas. But now that you mention it, yeah, that is what he was. Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up a little something I have here of a face that I keep looking for. Yeah, this is where I'll be living when I turn 120. This will be my biodome when I get to be 120 years old. And it'll be simple, you know, access to the bathroom and a nice refrigerator, porta potty. I will, of course, be equipped with my zombie attack survival kit. And, of course, the entire biodome is protected. It's not plastic. It's completely impenetrable Kevlar acrylic. So nothing can happen here, even if I'm dancing. So I'll have that ready to go for my survival. The bubble biodome, yes. So I'm developing certain areas. I'm already preparing my endless pool for when I turn 150. I'm working on something like that with the device that will lower me in. It'll be a strap that goes around me and it'll drop me into the water. So I won't have to actually go into the water. I'll be more like a roly-poly, you know. That'll be my swim spa when I turn 150. And when I get to be about 170 years old, yeah, I'll look like Clint. Yeah. I miss the good old days when everybody wasn't an overly sensitive pussy. Yeah. Go ahead and make my day, punk. Then when I turn 180, then I'll look like Albert Einstein. That'll be the look. That'll be my 180th year when I start to look like him, but I won't be using my tongue. I'll be saving it for eating. Hey, Dave, I can't believe you're saying this about me. Oy vey. I thought you were a good Jewish man, and now I find out you're a yenta. A goyim. And when I turn 190... Oh, are we still in the show? I'm sorry, I was having a fantasy about getting older. When I turn 190, I will become a cybernetic organism. You will not be able to compare me to a real or an android. I will look exactly alike. I will be just like the image of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I know this is kind of tripping you out. Then I will decide whether I become human or transhuman. Yeah, I know this is very weird for you too. I am not the only one being weirded out right now. Yeah, I look a lot like him. I could probably do Terminator 7 or 8 in his stead. Yeah. Maria, why don't you gain some more weight? You look more like Mildred with the big breasts. Yeah. Well, that's been great having you, and I hope you've enjoyed having me. Kirk Douglas has died. We're going to do a little thing about Kirk right now. A little remembrance of Kirk, the great Kirk Douglas, everyone. Thank you for coming in to our show. Take care. Be well. Be different. I'm not Jewish. No, I'm Catholic. I was never Jewish. But I like Jewish people. So don't think Jewish people are bad. They're good people. I've met a lot of good Jews in my life. Oy vey, have I ever. Okay, let's go to the Mr. Right song. That's the next thing on the show, on the agenda. I'll see you in the Catskills for my next comedy act, okay? Shecky Green and I will be working together, not...
Off my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around. Cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat. Cause you make me melt away. Cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good.